your ancestors, that they were quote unquote people in power that are part of the same white supremacist construct, and were the same ones who built the country on the backs of those people who had those ancestors, on those ancestors and the blood of those ancestors. Why would they in turn say, you know what, we're going to wipe our hands clean and just give you money for some reason to fix all of that? So it's a crutch. You understand that? So it's not that they hate that it happened to them. It's just that people are using it as a crutch. And if they look at it for what it is, they'll realize slavery isn't a foreign concept at all. You got people that are still being trafficked, right? Pimping is slavery. People don't want to admit it. That's still trafficking, okay? Especially when you understand how powerful.
It's all slavery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Signing up for Instagram is slavery. Having social media accounts is slavery. People, again, it's only because of what people have been shown in like the Roots movies and things like that, that people are so adamant about pretending that they're against slavery. But in all actuality, if we go deeper, which that's what I'm responsible for doing, or if we raise the level higher, what we could see is when people are having sex, they choking each other out, slapping each other, grabbing belts, whipping each other, beating each other, calling each other all out the name, all kind of stuff.
That's trauma though, Faise.
Huh?
That's trauma. I told people that's from trauma. See, back during the slavery days,
That's what
this
I'm
what happened to
telling
your
you.
ancestors.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
that's why you
So
like
when
that.
people are engaged in sexual activity, what's allowed to come out? More of their primitive instinct and things that they think that they don't have to show out in the public. They're allowed to just let their subconscious speak. You understand what I'm explaining to you? So a lot of people out here acting as though they hate trauma, they hate pain, they hate people being hurt. But a lot of these people they're very sadistic in nature. They actually love that type of stuff. They love drama. They love seeing people get hurt. They see the image that comes up over a video says, "Don't click this." Somebody getting their ass whooped, and they click it anyway. They don't click this. Somebody getting their brain blown out. They say, "Ooh," and they click it anyway. So you only fooling yourself, and even then, that's an oxymoron, because you can't fool yourself. The intellectuals among us, or the elite among us, know that a lot of y'all rhetoric points here as human beings is fake. It's all rooted in fallacy. Go ahead.
And for me, it's just a level of what I call new heavy word alert, spiritual fanaticism. You know what I'm saying? Many of y'all are just fanatics. You pick a team, and when you're dealing with fanatics, whatever it is that you've become the fan of, you're gonna deify that thing. The same way some of these people deify these sports teams and these players on these sports teams, and they make them like gods. You know what I mean? Like it's no different. You pick a side, whatever side you're on, you make this thing and you fight for that side, and everything else is wrong. So for me, like I hate when people get like that, and it's that way when it comes to these scriptures as well. And I don't care. It's that way when it comes to the Quran, right? Because they both condone slavery cases right now, but it ain't happening. And we don't want to call God into question, or nor do we want to call ourselves into question for what we really stand for.
You want to know why? It's a genius science. It's called the revelation buffer. The revelation buffer. Revelation buffered. Revelation is 2,000 some odd years. No man's going to know the time. No man's going to know the hour. Just keep waiting. It's revelation buffer. They can say, "Oh, God ain't coming back to Revelation." Well, then they need to explain, well, then how's God omnipresent? Because God doesn't have to come back anywhere if he's always everywhere at all times. You understand that? Oh, we don't know. Nobody knows. I'm just saying he's close. Because close in human years could be another 10,000, 20,000, I don't know, 25,000 years from now. But this is especially what's going on now with this prosperity doctrine, which we already knew that prosperity doctrine isn't new. They trying to act like it's new. Prosperity gospel isn't new. It's been that. It's been about money. Why? Because humans have to survive. And every time you see these pastors standing in front of people and they saying they preaching the word, all this stuff, it's still always about money. They just don't want to acknowledge that it's about money. So then they're going to warp it now because they lose in the church. They know they're losing the church because of now you got the new age thinking. you got this new way of life where they say all the information was gonna be coming out. There's gonna be a whole lot of new stuff coming out in this day and time. We in that day and time where people don't even want to be religious anymore. They want to be free thinkers. They want to do their own thing, and they want to be spiritual. So what the church is moving to do now, like what you see with Marvin Sapp, is they trying to get every last piece of the last penny they can out of this business before it ends. They know the business is going to end because this was never Jesus's
It's gonna.
church.
Yeah, no,
You
no.
got to
Church,
tell me
church
when
always.
Jesus came back and built the church on the rock. When did that happen? He said, I'm going to build my church right here on this rock. That never happened. So every church since Jesus left in Acts 1:9, left the planet, every church has been fraudulent. Every church has been fake. That ain't his church. Same way he was flipping over the tables in the buildings in the days of old, according to their stories, saying, this is not my father's house. This is a house of what? Merchandise. So close the doors. Close the doors. Close the doors. Don't let anybody out.
Say ushers,
Go
ushers,
ahead.
close the door.
Ushers, close the doors. This is a house of merchandise. I need 20 from you. He robbed those people in front of God. And will a man rob God?
Yo, that no, the people who got robbed the worst was the niggas that was on stage behind him. He
Oh, yeah,
was
that
like,
was
yeah,
crazy.
because y'all gonna give him
He said
100. Yeah,
that's the
because I'm gonna give
VIP
him.
section.
Yeah, yeah, y'all gonna give him 100.
Yeah, the church ain't nothing
He
but the club. Why when people gonna realize that? The church is the club. It ain't no different, really. You
I
got the
bet.
DJ, you got the host. He stands up there on the stage with the microphone. They got drinks. They put it in the communion, right? They serving drinks and food, bread, and all that other stuff. Especially with the what do you call it, the repast or the funeral sections, right? They giving
Yep.
food out. They doing entertainment. They
But
got dancers. They come out. They call them praise dancers. All kind of stuff. People dressed to impress. Women dressing all tight. The men dressing. It ain't nothing but the 80s. And people don't people don't want to look at it. It's the club today. People put on their best and they go. If everybody was serious about what it was that they were talking, why don't you go in uniform like the Muslims do? Go in uniform. Everybody go. Well, not even the Muslims. I can't even say that because generally speaking, the Muslims don't wear all white like they're supposed to. They don't dress all together like they're supposed. Everybody they still dressing to impress and dressing tighter and tighter and tighter. You see hijabi women all over the Instagram, all over the web, and they clothes just getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
oh
Why? Because
yeah,
more of the
oh yeah.
primitive side is showing. And my point is to answer that is the revelation buffer. If people are still looking for revelation to come, right? And this is always this tantalization aspect where I'm saying you almost got it. You almost got it. Just keep reaching. You almost got it. Then generation after generation after generation after generation, I can sustain myself and my family pushing this same doctrine of revelation will come, as opposed to looking at the fact that revelation's already here. It's been here.
Mm.
And I'm not,
So I got
not
it.
talking about the Bible's revelation. People need to listen. Revelation is already here. You look in the mirror, all right, and I'm not talking about physically. You can do it physically if you need the visual aspect of it. But if you look in the mirror, you can't fool anybody in that mirror. You can't fool yourself. You know what's going on in your brain. You know who you are. You know what you are. You know what you do. You know what you don't do. You open your mouth, you lie. You understand that? But you know exactly who you are, and the person next to you does. But what people go out there and do, they present these statues or they put representations of themselves out in front of everybody. And they think that because they've done that, they've actually gone forth with revelation. No, that's a falsified revelation. The true revelation happens within. The true revelation is in that brain. You understand what I'm explaining to you? So my point is, once you understand more about neuroscience and psychology, you realize most of these people out here, if not 99.9% of the population of the planet that ever existed on Earth, they lived a lie. And the reason why they lived a lie is because it was a survival mechanism.
No, it's a. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you even get into the fall of man, you know, it was a lie. It was a truth and a lie. It was a truthful. It was a truthful lie. It was a true. It was a truthful lie.
Just like our president, you know what I mean? He's an honest liar. And that's what we get.
You say just like who?
Just like our president, he's an honest liar. I mean, that's
Shout out to
You
shout
see
out
how you
to
said that? You see how you
GJT.
said just like our president?
Yeah.
You place yourself in the realm of possession. You
Mhm.
see?
Yep.
Now what makes him your president?
No, I'm just taking accountability regardless of what I did, whether I chose him or not. You know what I mean? He's
No,
still
I'm
a
serious.
product
What
of our.
makes him your president?
No, he's not my.
Because you said our.
I personally don't give a shit about
Well, yeah,
politics like that.
he's
You know?
he's the representative of the people that live on this landmass. You know what I mean? To other nations across the world,
According to
across the
who?
He's a
planet.
perfect
So if you
manifestation
went
of
to
America.
so if you went to another country today, if any of y'all flew out and go to another country, they're gonna say Donald Trump is your president because you are an American.
Yep.
Right. According to who?
According to modern civilization and the way a democracy or politics is,
Now
structured.
watch
This is
this.
the way
Watch this. What is a country?
America.
No, I'm saying what is a country?
Oh, we're gonna go through this phase. We're about to walk this line to try to figure out how you don't see how Donald Trump doesn't represent you, or why you have possession. Well, it's not that you have possession, but that he is a representative of you. So therefore, you are associated with him. So therefore, there is some level of possession
No. So
based
here's
off
what you
of
do.
relation.
You say
Based off of relation.
I heavy believe he's a representative of me. Trump does not represent me
No,
at all.
he doesn't
In no
represent
way,
me at
shape,
all.
form, or fashion.
But he does.
Oh, he definitely doesn't
But no, but
represent
he
me.
does.
But
No,
the
I can
argument
identify.
I'm making is
No, y'all are not being rational now. Y'all got to stop.
Hey man, take it one at a time.
Donald Trump.
Let's do
Okay,
this
wait.
now. Come on now. Let's
yeah.
do it.
Okay. So what? Now let's
Yeah.
walk it slow. Now let's be
Okay.
okay. Donald Trump is the president of the United States,
Says who?
right?
Says who?
Says the census. Says the
Electoral college. I mean, the
says
media.
the
It's everything,
populace.
right?
Says the populist consensus.
Okay. So watch this. You ready?
Right.
I'm the president of the United States.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Make it make sense to me. I
Okay.
might understand it, but I'm not following right now.
Okay. So Donald Trump, he has to wake up in the AM, correct? When he eats his food, he has to convert that food into energy, just like everybody else, is my point. If he gets shot in the head, not saying that it will happen, I'm saying if this were to hypothetically happen, he could die, correct? If he doesn't eat
Right.
for a long enough period of time, he could die, all right? He had to be birthed. He was carried by a mother, as far as we know, and birthed, just like every other human being. All right, he wakes up, he puts on his socks, he puts on his trousers, he puts on his shirt, he gets ready for work, just like a lot of people. This is a human being. What makes him the president of the United States is illusion. Illusion makes him give me about 30 seconds because I know we can get there. Illusion makes him the president of the United States because you can't even tell me what the United States is. What is the United States? To
It's
the
a
person
it's a
who's been reared
corporation.
up in
And
this reality that they painted for you, the United States is, they'll say, oh, it's America. Is it? Unless they add in another island tomorrow, could they feel like it? They'll say it's America. Oh, what is America? America is, and then it all boils down to dirt, sediment, a landmass surrounded by water. Oh, so then you don't need to put a name on this. We're standing on soil. Somebody decided they're going to name the soil or name the dirt something that they like and say, we run this piece of dirt. And you say, okay, what makes it be that you run this piece of dirt? And then you go look up enough of the story and you realize that the only thing that makes it be that they run this piece of dirt is their ability to be careless enough, to be brutal enough to enslave, murder, trap, kill people all across the land. It's their
right.
brutality.
So that
I'm almost there. It's their brutality that makes them, in your mind, have that power. It's the same reason when the police pull you over. If this was a regular person, You will probably give them a piece of your mind how you want to, fight them, all of that. But you know, even if you beat the shit out this police officer and kill him, you still got to deal with the rest of the gangbangers who are the rest of the police members. And you have to deal with them sometimes generationally. It don't matter if you escape, they're going to hang that over your head generationally until they either kill all of you or capture all of you for what your father did 3 generations ago. My point is, what you're calling the United States is just dirt and water and hills and mountains that somebody's saying they have dominion over. But you know in your heart, they don't have dominion over it. You just know that if you were to challenge that dominion, you would have to, at that point, deal with the primitive aspect of fighting them physically. So nobody actually runs this soil. It's soil. There is no president of the United States. There's a CEO of a business that was created some decades ago. Go ahead.
Oh no, I hear you. Like, because the president is like, you know, basically the head of state or the chief executive of the federal
Is that?
government, but he's also the commander in chief of the armed forces. So if a person is going to be all of those things, then I will consider. I say that person is the president. If he can be the commander in chief of these armed forces, you know, because that's what America is. It's not the land. You know, he's the representative of that, the people of that. So for me, America is larger than just the land mass. America is an ideology,
There you go.
you know, and
Boom.
that ideology it extends further than just America. We can tell when somebody acting American
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else.
Hey, Hef,
That's how much we know.
I'm about to go train. Hef, come get this work.
You rolling around on the ground with men, man. We we
I
here
got
with
some
it,
gloves
man.
too in
We
there
here
too,
with it.
Hef.
Come on,
Hey,
man.
Hef, y'all, thanks for having me on. Hey, I appreciate the geography lesson and the landmass
All
lesson,
right,
man.
man.
Y'all have
All
a good
right,
day.
bro. Yeah, but no. So if we condone slavery, you know, if people still condone slavery, most people condone slavery, like you guys said, and they're just mad at the fact that they lost, right? Is there do you see just as much envy for the oppressor as you do resentment?
Yeah.
Because I do.
Mm-hmm.
I see just as much envy as I do resentment. What about you guys?
1000%.
I don't have either. I don't have either. Go ahead.
No,
No,
I was just saying
no,
a
not
thousand
if you
percent. I
do you
mean, I
notice?
see both for sure, but I
I
see just as
definitely know.
I mean, I think a lot of people hate the thing that they eventually will want to become, you know, and I don't think it happens intentionally, right? Like you start off being very idealistic and hopeful and positive, but then you come across some nasty characters, and it changes your entire point of view, and then you become uh, predatory. You know what I mean? You want to take over some shit. You want to be a billionaire. I mean, at what point? Like, do we really need billionaires on the planet? Do you? Like, I know they exist, but like, isn't that just a point of greed that is just a little bit past humanity, right? Like, we can almost all feel that to some extent, but for some reason, people like to idolize these people. And earlier, when I was mentioning Trump, it wasn't to idolize him. I don't give a fuck about no Trump, nobody. I'm just saying he is unfortunately the face of America, whether we like it or not. I mean, he represents the greed and the pomposity and the
Yeah,
loudness,
I can
and we got to take
concede
it down
that.
a
It still
notch. That's
doesn't
all.
affect. It doesn't affect me. He's not going to affect what I do or whatever. But I understand the role that he plays and how people view that.
Yeah,
Even when I talk to my friends in other countries, how they view that, and I'm like, now don't associate. I even say that we're not as everyone's not as with that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? I get it.
bro.
I
I
get
talk
it, and I
to
hate the
people like
myth of
overseas. You know, I talk to my
and
father. He's living overseas right now, and like he tells me like what people think over there. I mean, I hear it from
yeah,
all
that's what
sorts
I'm
of
saying.
people anyway, but
That's what I'm saying. You're
you know
hearing
what I mean?
Europe, Israel, like you know, in Latin America, you see how people see it. You know, it's people burning Trump. stuff, and all types of stuff, crazy stuff. So yeah, it's you know what you see what it is. You just know what it is. But someone says this is a myth, guys. Stop saying that. You can't say the black man side note, guys. You can't say the black man is the original man and say the white man was the first person to enslave.
I don't know who was the first person to enslave because I wasn't there.
Like,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
like
How many people gonna start realizing we don't know? We don't know. For all we know, we've been living in this elongated now, and that's all you can know. That's all you were ever supposed to know. You know what I'm saying? And then there's,
right.
like I said, there's a lot of excuse of people leaning on what happened in the past. But if it were a Caucasoid who enslaved somebody first, we still have melanin dominant people who subscribe to that way of thinking in so many different ways. So I don't, like I said, I don't resent or envy people who did whatever they did to people in the past or doing it now. I don't resent or envy them because it's not in my intentions to enslave anybody. You know what I mean? Not by way of life, not by way of thought. It's not in my intentions. And some people may feel otherwise, but it's not my intentions. And just like I always say, we don't need billionaires. Here go the big question. Do we need human beings on Earth? Are human beings necessary for Earth to survive? Have we shown that? And from what I think human beings, if they're not able to figure out what it is that they're doing here, they need to go ahead and get up out of here. And whatever nature decides is suitable for their judgment, I agree with it.
Yeah, I find no disagreement there myself.
Yeah.
I'm with that program.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
nature
Yeah. I'm
is
not one
the
of those
ultimate
people
decider. You gotta trust that bitch. You know what I mean?
because every generation, everybody knows what they're doing. The older you get, even though I'm only 26, I'll say it like this: the wiser you get, the more you understand about that. Everybody knows what they're doing. You know when you're hurting somebody. You know when you're helping
Mm-hmm.
somebody. And even if you don't know, there's this innate feeling that you get. There's this vibration that goes off, this frequency that goes off, where when someone allows for you to know it, you're met with the decision of whether or not you're going to care. Right? You standing on somebody and they're screaming like, "Yo, get off me! Get off me! Get off me!" You know what I mean? You got that child that always just stood there anyway and just observed what was happening. They didn't necessarily care. They observed it and took it in as a lesson of their own to say, okay, I'm causing harm to this person. Let me see how far I could go. And you have to go and grab that child, say, what the fuck is wrong with you? Right? And then you have the child who really didn't intend to. And when they realized that they hurt the person, they would cry with the person they hurt. You understand that? So there's just different
Mm-hmm.
natures of human beings that are playing out here. And I think that if people paid attention to it, they would realize humans aren't a necessity. They don't have to be here. It's not something that needs to
Yeah.
happen. And if human beings aren't able to get it together, go ahead. And I say nature ain't just no leaves and water. Nature is hydrogen, methane gas. If those trees decide they're not producing any more oxygen, however it goes, then human beings, and they have been dealing with it. If you look at it, diseases, all right, illnesses, mental illnesses, deformities, natural alterations, and alterations in the climate, earthquakes. All the Earth has been trying to get rid of human beings. It's just that whatever evolutionary aspect of human beings allow for them to be able to fight back is keeping them here. If, you get what I'm saying? If it weren't for asthma pumps, a lot of us would have been gone. If it weren't
For us, we
Mm-hmm.
we
I don't know that,
we
that's what
created
I'm saying.
nature.
I don't know that. See, okay, unless we're counting whoever could have possibly partaken in the creation of human beings, then we can count them as nature. That's possible, unless they were not of nature, because they could have been of something else that
Right.
we don't know about that could be beyond nature. My thing is with this. I hear what you're saying because with this state of being, we can see what's going on here and we look at it from a different standpoint. However, who's to say that the lion isn't enduring their own conscious evolution? That the lion is like, why do we have to kill each other to eat? You understand? Who's to say the lion isn't questioning that? Who's to say that the tigers aren't questioning that, or that the dog looks at the human being and said, why can't I walk around that way and talk and do for myself, you know what I'm saying, how they can? Why do I have to be this violent beast? So my thing is, I know that there's a state of being that allows for you to be critical of your position in nature. And we have that state for sure. And I know some people lack that ability to look at things critically. I know people lack that ability to have a sound enough mind that is not altered to the point of, like we were talking about, you getting gratification from causing harm to someone. You know, people are like that. People really are like that still, not just the little kids, because they come in as children. You got to explain that. Why are certain children born demonic? You know what I mean? Now you can take that demonic child or that evil child or that nefarious child. You could take them and raise them up in an environment, and maybe it'll change their nature, maybe it won't. But why are they born that way? And on the same token, flip it, why are certain people born caring about people? And then what side of the spectrum do you stand on? I stood on the side of I care about people. And as I grow older, I start realizing maybe this is what my thing is. Maybe it isn't that human beings don't need to exist here. Maybe myself and my bloodline don't.
Mm.
Maybe that's why I say I don't want to have children here, because why would I condemn them? This is hell. I don't want to. The only thing that ever stopped me from saying I want to have a child, let me go through with it, is thinking about how much hell I would have to go through again. You understand that? Because that would be another version of me having to endure it again and endure it again. And unless we were able to do away with the real cursed seed, which is damn near the whole thing and the whole way of thinking, then I wouldn't want to bring nobody through here. So I would say I'll change it. Instead of human beings don't need to be here, I think everybody who reaches this level starts realizing we don't need to be here. I don't need to be here. And by I don't need to be here, I'm not talking about suicidal. I'm talking about I don't think any children of mine need to come through here. And I think that I need to leave with me. And when it's my time, I go. And nobody is left to deal with these devils. This is a very devilish group of people we're talking about, a group of beings. All right. And I'm talking about not all of them are that way, but the many of them are. And when
But
you rise up against that, I'm 10 seconds. When you rise up against that nature of devils, they'll kill you, or they'll cause pain for you, or they'll lock you up for 22 going on 23 years. Anything. I've seen what they do to our kind. So maybe they are at home. You're right. Maybe nature does need them here. Maybe I'm not supposed to be here. Because how could I be mad about the conditions of prison and how niggas ain't able to come out of their cell? And that's prison.
because here's the problem, and like I hear what you're saying, but to that degree, then that's allowing evil to prevail. Because for Faze to not have children is to say, well, that's one less vessel that could be used as a messenger. You know, that's one less light that could be used, or two or three less light that could be used, and that is allowing evil to prevail. So now I could see why you might have that sentiment. But if evil is not to prevail that way, that can't be the way it is. So for me, I look at it like this: if Faze was in the office with the billionaire, Faze could probably snap the neck of that billionaire because he's probably just that frail. The difference between you and the billionaire is not money, it's distance. It's distance. And what you would do if you could close that distance.
You see what I'm saying? And look, let me
and,
stand there with you.
and the average, and I'm gonna say this, and you
All right,
got
go
it.
ahead.
And the average brother, if they could close that distance, they would try to make an arrangement and sell out, in opposed to just snapping that neck.
And then there's me that will die. I would do neither. I don't want to cause any harm to the billionaire, and I don't want to take the billionaire's place. If anything, I have a conversation with the billionaire about
So,
who they could help in real time and how, or what could be paid attention to, or about what type of steps I could take to get to that type of position to be able to help other people if they could offer that. But other than that, how about just speaking to the billionaire, not wanting anything from the billionaire, and letting them go on about their day? That's
Yeah, and
I've
going
done
to
that too.
and going into raping and pillaging and and the trickle down effect of that evil going on, right? See, and that's the like this is what I'm saying. At some point, there's the reason why clans and tribes had warriors because they had to do the job that the average person really didn't want to do. The average person doesn't want to kill. They want to live their life. They really just want to live their life. But they get to live their life because they don't get to see what might have to go on behind the scenes. Just like when somebody has to slaughter that thing that comes on your plate that's very pretty. There's somebody that has to be the warrior that goes and slays wickedness.
I don't think that's true, Heavy. I
But
think the average
but
person does want to
see,
kill. They just don't want to
I,
go to prison.
no, I don't think the average person wants to kill.
We could put a poll up. Not in here. You're gonna have a lot of people
Oh
come back
Oh,
and
but
shit!
oh, they
Yeah,
might want to. They might.
definitely
Okay, you know what,
telepathic
Faze? No,
murder and
you're
shit.
right. They want to kill something that looks just like them. Those people. Yeah, I know that
A
group. I know
billionaire
that
look just
demographic.
like you. They listen.
Nah, nah, you don't.
People want to kill. They just don't want to go to prison. Are you there with me? A lot of people want to do things, but they're afraid of what will see. Listen, look at this. Look at this. The same evil forces, the police, you know what I mean, the feds, all of that. If you go around
But they
committing
ain't going
murder,
to jail for it.
hold
They
on.
doing it, but they ain't going to jail for it.
Look. You stay in a community. You live in a community. If somebody's going around in your community killing people, and you turn them over to the feds, they're gone, and they don't want. Listen, what I'm saying to you. People don't want to go to jail. So a lot of people be like, man, I wish I could kill this motherfucker. I would, if I could, I would. And they really could, but they don't want to endure prison and having to be faced with other so-called warriors like you're talking about who kill for fun and would do it again if they get let out. They don't want to deal with those types of beings. So the average person does. I don't want to kill anybody. I don't I don't like the state of I'm a different type of warrior. I'm the warrior that when I walk in the room, everything changes because I walked in. I'm the warrior that
Oh
the
yeah.
gangsters and the killers and the thugs respect. And it's not because I gotta pick up the gun. It's because if I look a certain way, the guns is gonna be picked up and don't nobody even you understand what I'm explaining to you. It's I'm that type of being. And those are the ones who were responsible for spearheading everything. Because you had the not just warriors, what you're talking about is oftentimes the expendables, the ones who were bred to be machines to go out and crash out. Like a lot of the young niggas we got out here now.
See, no, because the crash out. See, we shouldn't even have no crash outs.
But we do.
We shouldn't. There should be no. We shouldn't. There should be no crash outs in our community at all. Period. That's a whole different topic. But and I'll get into the gang stuff on another day, right? But no, I do believe that if you were in that position right there, you should kill that person. You shouldn't. There's no message you're going to give him that's going to change his mind. You know, that's gonna cause him to shift and stop doing his endeavors to creating his money the way that he's doing it and everything like that. And that's what I said. The average person wouldn't, right? And that's respectable. Like the average person is not, and it's not up to the average person because the average person just wants to live his life, and they should. Oh snap! I got you, bro. And they should just want to live their life. Some of you, let me acknowledge you. I just want to say this before we continue. I see you, Rozzy. I see you. I'm not seeing you too. Um, but I noticed before you guys have had altercations with Faze on the lives. They were a little uncomfortable, so I'm not gonna put. I learned from my last time. We're not going. I don't know if y'all have learned from the last time. So, but I have. So I'm not. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna present that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Ty Thompson. I don't know you. I hear you say that Huey P is your uncle or your granddaddy or something like that. If he really is, come on up, then we probably know some of the same people, right? So we could get into some conversation on that. If that is real or you just trolling, let us know. But But go ahead, gentlemen. You guys got the floor. You never had an altercation with Faise? Yes, you have. You and Rozzy have. I think, and Bilal was on when it would happen.
I don't know who they are. Who are these people?
Yeah, you
I don't even
you
remember.
won't
I'm
remember
glad.
because
I'm
you
glad
probably
to
get into
forget some
altercations.
things.
But I remember when people come on my lives and they have these weird altercations. Like I'm sure you've remembered a few times coming on the lives phase and having uncomfortable,
I think I
altercations
can.
with people.
What you have to understand about me is like I really be. I'm a now being. You see what I'm saying? It's like I really
Okay.
be on some. And nobody's saying nothing that's
So
significant. You understand? They talking anyway. My thing is if I'm here to talk to people and give them ideas that they can use. Other than that, I
okay.
know
So
there's gonna be
Rozzy, I'm gonna
bots and agents and stuff like that that's here to, you know what I'm saying, say other off the wall stuff and all that. I don't remember these people. I don't remember like that.
okay.
No, yeah,
So we're
yeah.
gonna
I was just
so we
saying, we had a disagreement, bro, but it wasn't that much.
I don't know. I
that's
don't
all.
remember this dude.
You probably
I
don't
don't
remember
remember
me.
this dude.
Yeah,
Okay.
nah, but
So
if
okay,
you've
so
been on the
good.
live,
So okay, so we all took new start. We're gonna rock it out. We're gonna rock it
Okay,
out this
yeah.
way.
What's up? Nice to
Okay.
meet you.
what's happening?
All right. So now let's move on to another part of this topic. Um, is the gods of these holy texts good for us?
Which ones?
Any
Any of them?
of them?
Yahweh, Allah,
Um,
whatever.
I don't know who they are to answer that. I don't know them.
I,
I have to meet them and be able to know whether or not
I,
they're good.
I,
I don't know them. I don't
I
even know that they exist.
would
I
say
think it's a
this.
code. I think they're a code.
I,
You know what I mean? It's just
yeah,
it has benefits up to a certain point, and beyond that, it just limits your progress, right?
your progress.
Then you
Yeah,
have to take the devil's side, so to
yeah,
speak. You know what I mean? Then you have to take a little more adversarial way, in my opinion, at least. I'm not
Yeah,
condoning
because
it for
it got to
anybody
be
else.
right. Because you don't have to take. It's a storybook.
Hmm.
You don't know whether or not any of these characters exist. So I find it very interesting when you got to go like choose Satan out of the book instead of just not choosing the character out of the book. It's tortoise versus the hare. You don't have to
Yeah, I
choose
mean,
any character. You read it and then
mhm.
you go on about your business. You get the lesson out of it. You don't know whether or not these beings are. Why do people become Satanists and stuff like that? Just if you don't agree, you don't have enough information from God. Either you keep searching or you put the book down. You got what you needed out of it.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't
hmm
understand that point.
No, you just can't take too much. I know what he's saying. You can't take too much out of these books and these characters. You know what I'm saying? Let it apply to your life. You know what I'm saying? And if it don't fit, then let it be.
I don't know God. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the book story people talking about, I don't know them. I don't know the Jesus character. I don't know who. I don't know these people to be like, yeah, I ran into them on the mount this and mount that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's up to people to decide and search for. I can't answer that for them. Now, if you're asking about whether or not the belief in God is good for people, I think that's subjective. I think possibly it can be, because if your belief in God is stopping you from terrorizing your community, then okay, well then I like that. If your belief in God and the possibility of being judged is stopping you from being a devil or being lazy with your actions and just succumbing to every primitive instinct charge that you get, then yeah, let God speak to you and keep speaking to you, hopefully generationally. So
If God, someone said God is consciousness. If God is consciousness, then you would have to concede that animals are conscious and animals are God.
and if God
And
is consciousness, you would also have to say that Satan is too.
right, and then
Yeah.
you would have to say, well, now we got to get into what you're eating and how you living and all that. Then now, so I can agree. I can agree if that's not a bad idea, right? That God is conscious, because it could put you in a place to where you should. It could cause you to see life a little bit more different. So I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at
As
that.
soon as people start saying God is and putting the word after it, it gets
You
interesting.
already know how I feel about
Yeah,
that.
it gets
Yeah,
interesting
yeah,
because
yeah.
you don't know that,
You've already.
but it's the easiest way out for you. Because if God is consciousness, then what would have God been before
What
consciousness?
is it? What is it?
because consciousness was created
Herman, do you know that?
according to their
Hmm?
story. No, I don't know anything. According to their story, God created all things. So no, I don't know nothing. You talking to the right person. They story said God created not only that, created peace, created evil, all of that. So if God would have been consciousness, then what would God have been before consciousness, which would have been a thing? They watch. Creation is his power. Okay, to
Valid.
the first, second, and third dimensional aspect of things. First,
So
second, third,
what?
person,
Right. So
place,
what is your
thing.
definition of consciousness?
I don't have a definition of consciousness. You want to know what the definition of consciousness is?
Yeah, I know what the definition
Okay,
is. A
well then
state of being.
I'm glad you
But
know that. Yeah. It's applicable. It can quench thirst. If I say this man of truth, that doesn't make it true. The person may very well go and test it and see
This
that it does
hey,
actually
hey, Happy,
work.
do you see?
So
Are
certain,
you
Oh,
serious? So then
I
you
think,
telling me
I
that
think,
wait.
I
so it
think
comes
those
down
who
to them
have
accepting whether what you saying is true or not, then.
have to accept it. They can apply it and see if it
Wait.
works.
My
Wait.
The
Okay.
goodness.
acceptance is
Okay. Time
just
out.
Bro,
listening
this
to
Wait.
what
this
I'm
y'all
Ethereal.
saying.
keep bro, this is
Phase.
Some of y'all
crazy.
don't
Wait.
understand, but
Wait.
he
Wait.
wasn't
I
raised
got
up
it.
in right
Wait.
knowledge.
Are you
Respect.
So
Respect.
how
serious?
can he
Wait.
understand?
Wait. 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 Ethereal. Wait. Phase. Wait. Wait, guys. I
Y'all,
want
Well, you
this.
about to end
Wait.
up.
Just
it
hear
is
me out,
You about to
serious.
guys.
close out.
I think. Wait. No. 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 I got it. Wait. 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 Guys, if y'all weren't listening, I've heard the comments. Y'all said, "Get Ethereal down. He's not making sense." But he finally harped it on a point where I see what he's meaning now. I was patiently waiting, and I finally caught up to where Ethereal is now. So it's one of those, you fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know you fucked up, right? Moments. So Phase, what Ethereal is saying is this: how can you be telling me anything about anything if you've already prefaced everything by saying you don't know nothing?
Well, am I supposed to answer that, or is
If
it
you
rhetorical?
don't know, right? No, no, this is for me. It is, but the one that Ethereal asked
Well,
is
and
not
this would be the
right.
same. It'll be the
So,
same circle. I've
Nah, ain't
answered
no
this
same.
so
every
this is,
time
I
I've
think,
Ain't
talked
what
to
no,
Ethereum.
answer it.
where
Answer
Ethereal
it.
I,
is with it.
Answer it.
I answered it every time we've
So,
spoken.
No, no,
It's
we
your
gotta
lack
do
of
it again. This a
comprehension
new
that
day.
is
See, you
confusing.
keep contradicting yourself. He said
All
I
right. So
answered it
then,
already,
you
but
want me to
ain't you the
answer the
one that
question, or
always
you want to
say
throw T?
that the now is
You want to throw
you're
T, or you
not
want me
the
to answer the
same
question?
as you was
Do
three
you
seconds before. This
want me to
nigga
throw?
contradict himself
Listen. Do you want
every
to throw T,
time,
or do
and
you want
y'all
me to
be but
answer it?
you can't, bro. I
You want to
remember
throw
all the
T? You
stuff
want
you
to
be
talk about
saying.
me, or do you want me to
No, no,
answer the
no.
question? You
Hey,
told me to
happy,
answer
wait,
it, but
Ethereal, you
happy,
now you want to
got
happy.
change
him
it.
now. Wait, Ethereal, respectfully, this is a good point you got. You already got
Yeah.
it. It's
What are
up.
you scared
Is
of?
it? But you have to allow him. You have to allow him to, you know, make his defense or his claim or his proclamation or whatever. So you got to give him that chance. He knows what he's up against now on this thing. So, but allow him to respond. Allow him to
Hmm.
respond.
All right.
Come on,
So
let's go.
just so we clear, the question is somewhere in the ballpark of how can you teach anything when you're already saying you don't know anything about anything, or you don't know what anything is? Okay. Well, then what I think is once you pull back the layers of what knowing is, you'll be able to see that I can know for sure what the density of my body is now, what the weight is right now. I can weigh it on a scale. I can say, okay, I know what this is. However, as soon as I step off of that scale, whether or not we have the metrics to measure it this point or not, that has changed. Weight is constantly changing because everything is able to be weighed, even down to your molecules, even down to your atoms. So whatever that scale was able to represent number wise or metric wise, it still is changing every inch of a moment. Every second or every first is changing. So I can say, oh, I know this. Now let's go to the water. The water analogy. I can say to a person without saying, hey, I know this to be true. I can offer a statement of truth. I can say, you can see, this is what statement of truth means, because I know it blew everybody's brains up who can't comprehend. Offering of a statement of truth means you can see whether or not this is true or applicable. I'm using the word applicable because people think that because somebody's saying some information, it means they know it. Or people think because somebody's telling them some information that now that person knows it to be true. So if I say, take this water and drink it to quench your thirst, I may very well be wrong. But guess what? The person who tested out may find that I'm right. And it doesn't even matter whether or not I was wrong or right. What would matter in that moment was whether or not it was applicable that you can drink water to quench your thirst. So that's why I gave you different options or different people and different ways you can take that analogy. One person may say, I like what he's teaching. Let me go teach this a whole nother way. I'm going to teach people that when you're thirsty, you can drink salt. And they're going to teach all of the people that are willing to listen to them that no, it's not DNA, it's DEA. We're carbon people and we have neuromelanin. Nobody else on the planet does. Right? That's just an example of how many people will listen to somebody teaching that you can drink salt to quench your thirst. And then somebody else says, no, I'm going to go and see whether or not this nigga telling me the truth. And I'm going to drink this water. See, oh, wow. I did quench my thirst. Somebody else might go and listen and okay, they drink the water. Wow, this didn't work. I'm still thirsty. And then somebody who's the believer and the acceptor will say, because Faise One said water will quench my thirst, that must be true. That statement of truth is accepted as truth. It's not really explored or dissected to see whether or not it is. It's just accepted as truth. Now, let me ask this question to everybody.
But
When you
wait, you going?
accept,
Hey, Phase,
let me
wait,
ask this
bro.
question to
Wait,
everybody.
wait, wait.
Then,
Hold up, bro.
no, I'm
You
not going to
going
wait. I'm
too
not going to wait.
long,
I'm not
bro.
going to wait. I'm going
See,
to ask the
somebody that
question,
gotta
and then
answer
whatever you
that.
do,
That's wait.
I'm going
Hold
to
up.
ask
You
the
gotta
question. I
wait,
don't
wait.
know,
You gotta
bro. I
give.
really
Wait,
find it
we gotta have a
extremely
healthy back and
like,
forth. That's wait.
okay,
Come
so
on,
then
you
let me
come on,
ask the
bro. Like
question.
you
That's
just went on
healthy.
a soliloquy,
Let
bro.
me ask the
Like you
question.
gotta learn
Let me
to
ask the question.
explain a little more
Let me
faster than that and
ask the
more better,
question. Let
bro.
me ask the question. Let me
Wait,
ask the question.
hold up, Phase. Wait, bro. You just
I don't
talked
have no
for
choice
two
because I'm
minutes,
not
and
trying
I
to
swear to
overstream you.
God.
Go ahead.
Wait, hold up. You just talked for 2 minutes. And basically what I just came down to the conclusion that everything you talk, so everything is subjective. It's about whether they want to accept it or not. And that's literally what I just said. So I'm
Well, then
asking you.
I can't do nothing about that. Then what
So
about the
wait,
other
hold up.
analogy
Wait,
points?
we just let you talk
Accepting was
uninterrupted, bro.
only
Calm
one part of
down.
the
Hold
analogy.
up. Hold up. Hold up. This for y'all. I'm this for the audience, y'all. I'm I consider myself an intelligent dude, and
Are you an
I'm kind of
intelligent
lost
dude, or do you
because
consider yourself an intelligent dude?
I'm what I'm trying to understand is that if he knows nothing, but he's offering a statement of truth, and then he says it's about whether or not that information that a person is accepting in that moment works for them in that
I
moment,
never
then it
said
doesn't
that. There you
matter
go again.
whether it's
I never
true.
said that, bro. I never said that. It's below my pay grade. I never accept that. Why would I say that? If the whole point is acceptance is only one part of what people do when they're rendering information valid or invalid. If
Okay,
they choose to
listen.
do that.
Phase. We
But
gonna
some
make
people
this.
don't
We gonna
choose
make
to
it.
accept.
Let's look.
Some people choose to go and see whether or not it's applicable. And other people that listen to me want to take it and flip it and turn it. Just so that you can be clear, because you say it's not
Bro,
simple
you
enough, and I
gotta
understand why.
learn to let somebody else talk.
Oh, well, okay, I'm with
Like
you
you
on
have,
talking. Just
like,
make sure you
but
representing it like the right way.
I don't. No, you cannot. See, this the thing. You are constantly contradicting yourself. However, I want to be.
If
That's
you're
for
the
me.
messenger, then you damn right. I contradict everything I say if you're telling
But
people
wait,
what I
but
said.
calm down, wait, because you cannot tell me how I should conduct myself, whatever, like that, because it's how I want to do. It's subjective. It's my life, so it's not for you to say anything, but just listen. Understand this. If everything is subjective, because that's how you're making it. Because every time I ask you a question, you say, "Well, it's about what that person choose to, what they want to accept is true,
Where
or
the
what they
fuck?
want to accept."
Hey, bro, I'm done. Why can't you understand? I never said that.
Oh, have
I keep
bro,
telling you I
everybody,
never said
bro,
that.
you have
I done
said
gave you
that.
analogies of water and honey,
That's not what
different
I'm saying.
elements
I'm
and
talking about
liquids, and you
overall.
still saying
Look,
I said that because you called in belief.
why you got you? You can rebut what I say after I'm done. We let you talk and didn't say nothing for
Okay,
some
I'm gonna let you
reason.
speak, but when you
But for,
say
but no,
hey,
but
listen,
for
if you say it
some
again,
reason, if everything is subjective, because that's how you making it. Because every time I ask,
hey, bro, I'm done. Why can't you understand? I never said that.
Oh, have
I keep
bro,
telling you I
everybody,
never said
bro,
that.
you have
I done
said
gave you
that.
analogies of water and honey,
That's not what
different
I'm saying.
elements
I'm
and
talking about
liquids, and you
overall.
still saying
Look,
I said that because you called in belief.
why you got you? You can rebut what I say after I'm done. We let you talk and didn't say nothing for
Okay,
some
I'm gonna let you
reason.
speak, but when you
But
say,
but no,
hey,
but
listen,
for
if you say it
some
again,
reason you
I'm gonna
can't
stop you
let
again.
another person
I am
talk.
going to stop you again if you say I said it's up for people to accept it. It's whether or not they accept it. If you say that again, I'm gonna stop you again. Clear?
No, you need to let somebody talk.
I don't give a damn what you tell me I need to do.
Exactly. And I don't give a damn about what you
Okay,
saying. So that's the
so then
point.
long as you represent it the right way,
Exactly.
I hear
So
Oh,
you.
here you
which
go.
which
Let's
means
go.
that
Let's go.
which means
Let's
that
go.
if you say that you're a teacher, but you don't know nothing, how are you teaching and you don't know nothing? So that would mean that if you're giving somebody information, they have to accept it, whether they want it, whether they think it's true or not, in order for them to apply it. Bro, this
Do
whole
y'all feel like y'all
conversation,
got it? For the people that's in the audience, do y'all feel like I want to ask y'all, do y'all feel like y'all have to accept what anybody teaches you in order for
he
you to
don't he
apply
don't want to
it?
accept when he
Do
wrong,
you
y'all. His
have to
ego. He got
accept
too
what
much ego.
anybody
He
teaches you in
talked
order
himself into
for you to
corner and now
apply it?
he's trying to talk himself out. That's
You don't
why
have to
he can't let
narrate
somebody
what
else
I'm doing.
talk.
You
We
don't
let
have
him
to
talk for
narrate.
2 minutes and didn't interrupt him. And he
It
just
doesn't
can't
matter. It
hold
doesn't matter. You
can't
still
he can't
misrepresenting me.
conduct himself right.
I
He can't
can
not
conduct myself
interrupt
perfectly
people.
fine. I can. I'm choosing not to. And I think that's the point of the whole conversation. When you started off with the decision. So for those of y'all who are here, do y'all feel like y'all have to accept what I teach or what anybody teaches? So that's wrong.
Oh, but they do.
But that's wrong. How you gonna tell them? That's subjective. I
I
thought you just said that
don't.
about your own self.
I
No,
definitely
no, I'm
don't.
talking
Subjective, it
about
is their life, and
I'm talking about your
it's
student.
based on what they feel and what
Your
they think.
students have
Hope alive
accepted what
No,
finally
you say.
speaks.
Your
I mean, I've
students.
been watching. Well, what am I going to say? Stop the argument? I mean, it's been a semantic argument for a while already, so I'm not going to, you know what I
Stop.
mean?
It ain't right.
I'm sorry.
Stop.
It is what it
Semantics
is.
is powerful
Yeah, it's
if
just
you
not
really understand it.
worth it. We could be talking about something more interesting, but that's just me.
It's interesting enough that people are still here.
I mean,
And
yeah, it definitely is interesting, you know,
I
because
think what they're
Now
interested in
Faze just
beholding
talking circles,
is
man. He
whether or not
talking,
there's a
and he
resolve.
still.
And the
And I asked
resolve
him
has
earlier
appeared
if I
multiple
answer his
times.
question. I asked him earlier if I ask this question, can he
It's
answer
gonna be an
mine now?
interesting replay. That's all I'm saying. Because
Now
people can pay
Faze
attention and
again,
see.
Faze, because
And I'm looking at what y'all are
I'm trying
saying.
to
It
understand.
doesn't seem like y'all are
I'm trying to
saying
understand
that y'all feel like y'all
what
gotta listen to what I'm
how
saying
I'm trying to
or
understand what's your
accept
method.
what I'm saying.
What's your method of knowing something is
It
true or
don't
not?
matter what my method is, because it don't matter what I'm gonna say to you. Your point is to find a rebuttal. That's
well,
why a lot
even
of
if
times in
he
this whole
said like he
conversation,
doesn't know anything, hey, but
yeah,
listen,
yep.
even if he
Even
said he
listen,
doesn't know anything, people will
oftentimes
listen
in
to
this
all other things
conversation,
he said, and like they might get something out of it, regardless of what he
yeah,
said about himself. You know what
even
I mean?
that, like
Like,
they'll be able to apply it
yeah, of course,
if they can,
it's a
if they
smart tactic
can. Maybe
if
they
you ask
can't.
me. I mean, that seems smart,
So
honestly. I would do it.
okay,
That's what
wait,
I do.
okay. So but this is my thing, right? This the thing though. If not, this is hey heavy. I don't think they understanding my question. So it's so can you decide? Is there a parameter out there where information is true or false?
I
Does that
don't know.
exist?
I don't
Does
know.
true
I
information exist
I
and does
think you
false
can
exist?
find as good an approximate truth as possible. They call these things theories and whatever, right?
Right.
Theory of
So you
gravity,
saying
all this
ain't
stuff.
so
I
basically
mean, like
ain't
we
nothing
can
a hundred
predict gravity.
percent.
It's
So
predictable enough. You know
you
what I
I don't
mean?
saying
know.
You know what I
ain't
mean?
nothing 100%.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. It's possible.
I'm
I think it's
saying
possible.
is any truth 100%?
I think it's possible.
You think it's possible?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, everything is possible. So,
Mhm.
but so if it's just a possibility, right? What's the probability?
I don't know.
Perception. I mean, everybody has a perception, so
You
it
ask for
depends on
probability.
how they
You talk
filter
about
their reality
statistics and
around them.
numbers.
You know what I mean?
I don't know.
A
I
lot
just
of it
don't know.
is random. So there's an element of
I'm
luck
trying
and
to
there's an
figure
element of
out.
choice.
You're trying to be combative.
I'm just trying to figure out.
You're disguising the trying to figure it out shit. That you're using that as a disguise for your combativeness. You just wanted to come on here and combat. And you think
No, it's
you got in
not.
beef
No,
at
no.
the
Oh
very
no. Oh
first
no.
moment
No,
you
no, no.
started
No,
speaking?
no. No, no. you call people questioning you combative because you just want them to listen to you and accept it, right? You want people to just accept what you saying is true, huh?
Do you think
That's
what you
why.
did was
Wait,
question me?
wait. It's only combative if what you saying is true. Ain't that right?
No.
So what's combativeness? If I
You
don't,
didn't. Okay, do we got to
how is it?
define that
How am
word?
I combative if I
Let's
don't know and I'm
define
trying to
that
figure
word
it
and see
out?
what happens.
Huh?
Where that takes us. Let's define combative and see what happens. Allegedly, let's allegedly define combative.
So you accepted. So have you
Wait,
accept
wait,
every?
wait,
Have
wait.
wait
Before
wait.
we
Have you accepted
wait,
every definition in the dictionary is true?
See what
Have you
happens
accepted
when
that
you
as
see what.
true?
Now, who in their
wait,
right
time
mind
out. Wait,
thinks I
time
haven't
out. Time out.
already
Wait.
answered
Phase,
this
wait.
definition in the
Phase, hold
dictionary
on.
question?
Hold on,
I
Phase.
answered
Wait.
this
Before y'all
50
go
minutes
to all
ago.
the keep going into definition. You made a statement. You just made a statement, Ethereal. When y'all know, I just jump in when I hear key things that are said. Y'all get back to arguing definitions. You said that, hey, Phase, you just want people to accept what you say, right? Is that something that you have observed that happens? People just accept what Phase says and they
No,
don't
they don't
take him
check
at
it
his
out.
word
They
because
don't.
I believe
I.
I
That's
but
what I
I
think. Yes.
believe he tells them check it out, go look.
Can we get an
Okay,
example of that?
so from your
Can we get an
position, right?
example of what somebody
So from your
accepted what I
position,
said?
wait. So from your position, you're taking the stance of, is it the defense of these innocent people that are being blindly led astray because they're too ignorant to go and figure things out for themselves? Is that what it is? That is, yeah.
Yeah, it's taking
Yes.
too much agency
Exactly.
away from other people.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is this. This is what I'm saying. He just said I just want to be on here combative. Combativeness is going against it's going against the grain, right? It's going against the direction you should be going down. For instance, if I'm dealing with a combative woman, that means she's not going with the plan, the structure, right? It's a plan I have out for her to follow, and it works. So to say that somebody is combative and they don't know, right? He's saying I'm combative, but I'm really trying to figure out how y'all think. I'm asking questions. He think it's combative because I'm not agreeing with him.
What? You
How am
don't
I
know what combative
combative
means.
if I don't know something and my questions are to figure out?
You get okay. So what happens when you get answers and you like that ain't work? That ain't the answer I need. I
Because
need a
I'm
yes or no.
allowed to. Why would I just accept it just because you think you answered it don't mean you satisfied.
Okay,
What I
so is
what
all right.
it
So then
it doesn't.
you're looking for satisfactory.
No, what
You're
I'm
here for
look, I'm
satisfaction.
no, no. I'm looking for uncontradictive mindsets.
Oh, then well, hey, good luck.
But dialogue isn't about satisfaction; it's about the truth. You
Yeah,
know, it's like you try to approximate
I'm
what the truth is, and that's it.
Right.
You know, it's
I'm
not that
trying to
complicated.
figure out how do what like I'm trying to
Good
figure
luck, bro.
out what's true and what's not. Like what like
Well, then
because
you ain't gonna find it on
it's
this live.
y'all it sounds very vague to me. I
Bro,
have
all
like
No,
right.
but
it
but what
all
you're
this it
having is a
So I
semantic
sounds
would like,
very
argument. It's
vague to
wasteful.
me.
You know what I mean?
I
That's
would
what I'm
like
saying.
I would like an example of when somebody just accepted something I taught. You said they just accepted. I would like
You
an
said
example of that.
you got students. That means they constantly keep coming to you. So that means they accepted what you said
That's
before.
not what
That's
the
why they coming
fuck
back.
that means.
How you don't know what that means? Oh,
That
let me
is
ask you this: do you have a
what?
student that you've been teaching for years,
Heavy, you went to school for how many years? You went to
bro?
public
Why you
school?
didn't answer the question?
Well, you're not the only person on
at
this live.
points. Yeah.
Okay, did you accept
Now
everything
I'm
that they
not the
taught
only
you in public
person on this
school?
line, so you just dodged my
Right.
question. Y'all see that he want me
Okay,
to
well then
answer his question.
I'm mirroring
You
you.
still
I'm
it's
trying to be
two
like you.
questions. Y'all. This man,
You said you didn't
you
accept
still
everything
you
that the
ain't
public
answered
school
two
system
simple
taught you, right?
questions I asked you. You
Can
still
am
ain't
I
answered
allowed
my
to
honey
am I
question,
allowed
and
to
that
ask
was
heavy a
damn near an
question?
hour
Am
ago.
I allowed to ask heavy a question? Or is that okay with you?
I asked, it's rude to not answer my
Oh, well,
question.
I'm being rude. Is that all right? Would that be allowed?
Oh my goodness,
Heavy, when
bro. God,
you went to public school, you
why
say,
why
did
you
you
can't
accept
answer
everything
simple
they taught you?
questions?
Okay.
Hey, Black
Heavy
Air
says
Force
he went to public
One, you
school.
a
He
simp. We
didn't
already know
accept everything
your
they
lady
taught.
run
So
you. Be
let's
quiet,
look at it like this, right?
Beta.
I went to public school. I kept going to public school day in and
Uh-huh.
day out. I didn't accept damn near anything they taught. So going to somewhere and reappearing over and over again doesn't mean you accept what's being taught or what's being offered. It just means you're either appearing there attentively, physically, or in some way. You're appearing there or frequenting whatever that place is or whatever that location may be. It doesn't mean you're accepting it. There are a lot of people that went to church all their life, didn't accept shit out of the book, the pastor's mouth, nothing. They became the biggest demons in the community, so to speak. So no, just because people are showing up doesn't mean they accept. Is there a next?
You're being combative by not answering my question, Faze. You
Okay,
still
I
don't answer
accept.
two
I
questions.
listen. I accept. I accept
You
that.
why you won't
I accept
hey
that.
heavy,
I
why he
accept
ain't
it. Let's move on.
heavy,
I accept
you
it.
my witness,
I
heavy,
accept that I'm being
heavy,
combative. Let's move on.
heavy, 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 you are my witness. You are my
Why is
witness.
he the only witness? There's 100 people.
Mhm.
Okay, I accept that I'm being combative. Well, just fuck the other guy on here. All right. I accept that I'm being combative. Let's move on to
He
something more important.
said, oh man, no, we want I, ain't that hey heavy, ain't that rude to not answer my question? But he want his questions asked,
All right. What's your
answered.
question?
Did you know
What's the
or
question?
did
I
you
don't know. I don't know
believe
what the
that
question
the
is.
honey was gonna hit the floor when you dropped it from your hands?
Did I know or did
Don't
I
you talk about that,
believe?
honey, no more.
Which you saying the pig
I
one? Did I know or believe?
said, did you know the honey was gonna hit the floor, or did you believe that the honey was gonna hit the floor when you tested?
It was neither. That's the point of testing.
So the end result, when the honey hit
It hit.
the floor, did you know
Uh-huh.
the honey was gonna hit the floor?
In
No,
front of the
no. Did
same
you know
question.
that the honey was gonna hit the
You
floor?
just asked that and I answered that.
Answer it again. You said
Did I know?
you don't know.
Say it again. Say it
Say it
You
again.
said you don't know.
Okay. Okay, that's not what you asked.
I'm asking, did you know that the honey was gonna hit the floor, or did you believe it was gonna hit the floor? Which one?
All right, so real quick before I answer that. Everybody that's in here, did I answer it? Did I answer it?
I didn't hear
Did I
you.
answer it? Did I
I didn't.
answer that?
I
Did I
didn't hear
answer that?
you. I
Did I
didn't hear
answer that?
you. I didn't
You
hear
don't remember
you.
me saying neither? You don't remember
So okay,
me
Okay.
saying
neither.
neither?
Why?
Okay.
Why is it neither?
It don't okay. Let me know when it will be satisfactory what I say. Because this is gonna be question. Just let me know when. At what point are you getting to?
I'm saying,
yo,
hey,
yo.
hey,
Okay. All right. Why is it
if you
neither?
don't know and you don't
The answer
believe,
to
right?
okay.
If you don't
It's
know and you
neither.
don't
It
believe,
was neither.
okay, listen. This is my question. If you don't know and you don't believe and you test it
Mm-hmm.
and you see the outcome,
Mm-hmm. Now I know
then
what happened in that particular outcome. So if I want to test it again, guess what I can do? Figure out whether or not it works again. This is called the scientific method.
right. So you constantly test it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So constantly testing it means that it can be right one day and wrong another day. Is that what you're saying?
Why are you using right and wrong?
You're right. Um, that's true. Okay, I like that one. That's the best thing you said all day.
Mm.
Um, right, because it don't have to be right or wrong. He right about that. He right about that. Okay, so basically, what you're saying is that. So let me ask you a question. So truth and lies is not a thing. It's just based on what you can use and what you can't use. Is that what you're saying? Am I right or am I wrong?
I don't know if you're right or wrong. I don't understand your
I mean,
terminology.
or okay, would you say that so if you constantly have to test things to see if it works for you and you want to apply it, right? So is there let me ask you this. So is there any objective truth that exists?
I don't know.
Does truth exist?
I
Facts.
don't know. I don't know.
You don't know. So if you say you know something,
uh,
if you don't know something, then how can you know something?
You can test it out to see whether or not it's applicable and replace the word knowledge with application. That's the closest I can get you.
So you would say everything that you teach is not truth or belief, it's just application.
I wouldn't say that. You
I'm
said that.
asking. That's the question.
You said, would I say that? No. I would have no reason to say that. Why would I just wake up and be like, hey,
Okay, so
I
all
don't,
right, so let me ask you this: the information that you give out into the public and to people, what is that information based on? Is it based on everything you tested and that you constantly test every day, or is it based on what you believe?
it's based on me being interested in it, thinking that it could be possibly applicable in other people's lives. And if they're interested in it, they can see whether or not it is.
Okay, cool. So basically, what you're saying, what you teach is not it's not 100, it's not 100% objective, right? Would you agree?
No, I wouldn't agree. I have no reason to agree.
No, I'm saying, is your information 100% objective?
I don't know.
So, okay. So basically, everything that you teach is not, it's not truth and it's not false. It's just about whether people want to apply what you're saying in their lives. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't
So
know
what are you saying?
whether or not. I just said I don't know. The same question, you just flipped it. I don't know whether or not it's objective. I don't know whether or not it's true. I don't know whether or not it's false. I don't know whether or not if you drink the
So,
water, is it going
so
to
what's
quench
the found?
your thirst?
Okay, so what's the foundation of your information coming from?
I just answered that. Okay, wait,
No,
answer that
I
again.
said
Make sure I'm.
foundation. It's not the same question.
What's the
What's the
foundation?
foundation?
Can you
Yes.
ask it? Can you rephrase the question?
What is your information based on? The
Okay,
information that you give out to the public, what is the foundation of it?
it's based on interest. I'm interested in it. And from my interest in it, I've seen certain things can be applied, certain lifestyles can be spawned. If you're interested in it, it can help you or it may not help you. If you're interested in what I point you toward, if you find that there's something over there that you can use to help your life, maybe a teaching style that you pick up on that can help people get out of the streets, whatever you find over there, if you're interested enough in it or if you're called to it, however you want to word it, then you can see whether or not it's applicable. It's based on something that I saw was interesting enough to point people to.
Okay, cool. So if a student accepts some of your information and it works for them one day and don't work for them the other, um, are you responsible for it not working for them?
Meaning, am I able to
No,
respond, or are you using it
no.
in the way that
Are
is
you
colloquial?
responsible? Okay, the information that you give out, right? Let's just say somebody takes on the information that you're saying, right? If they take on your information and it works for them one day and it doesn't work for them another day, would you consider that inconsistent information?
Well, okay. What I would say is an inconsistent occurrence, an inconsistent result, and that happens in science. That's the purpose of the scientific method. You may find that something that you apply at one point doesn't work at another point. That's why you keep testing it so that you don't go out promoting that it works and it doesn't work per your findings. And then
Okay, all right.
let's say you test it and say, per my findings, this doesn't work. For example, somebody said Christianity doesn't work or Islam doesn't work. Per their findings or whatever else that they've come to a conclusion based off of whatever it is their experiences were, or maybe they didn't have experiences. Maybe they just decided to say that Islam or Christianity doesn't work, meaning it doesn't clean people up, doesn't help anybody, whatever, whatever.
Okay, 10 seconds left.
If they,
Faith, hold
yeah, I
that
got
thought. Faith, hold that thought. 10 seconds left. We coming right back. You can finish that
you.
thought.
Copy that.
Be right back,
Yep.
guys.
Karma.
If I'm doing a teaching on karma, am I teaching about karma? If this is
Karmic
what you really
energy.
want to ask, I didn't say you. You changed it to karmic energy. You asked me about karma. I said I didn't believe in karma. I didn't know we were talking about karmic energy. You didn't ask me about Sanchita. You didn't ask me about any of the stuff, whether or not it's historic karma, future karma, past karma. That's what I mean by lacking. What I mean by lacking is there's a presentation of something as an idea, and people run with this statement of karma means if you do something, it'll come back to you. I said I think that's lacking because of how many umbrellas I'm aware of karma. You understand that?
All right. So, okay. So let's get deep into that. So, if you're aware of different karmas, right? If you're aware of different karmic energy, like you said, it's lacking. That's what I just said. If you say that it's lacking, how do how do you know it's lacking? Because right now you're giving me a declaration. You're not saying allegedly it's lacking, or
Well,
for
let's test it.
imitating purposes it's
Let's test
lacking,
it.
or I believe it's lacking. What you're giving a declaration, meaning that what you saying is true. Heavy. Before I ask you that, heavy. Am I wrong for saying that he's giving a declaration that what he's saying is accurate?
Um, is he declaring that it's accurate?
Yeah,
I
because
don't
they
know
say
if he's
word
declaring
is
that it's
I'm
bond,
not.
right?
accurate.
I'm not
No,
declaring that it's accurate.
no,
Well,
there's no
I
declaration
mean,
of
I'm just
that.
saying he loves semantics, but he don't say allegedly when he talks.
well, I don't have to. I'm not okay. So then we have to understand what What are we actually
So
talking about? So we
I'm
switched
no,
it
'cause- wait,
from
wait.
karma
I
to
just no.
karmic
This what
energy, which are two different things.
because I know
Here we. It's about to happen
I
again if you don't let me make this statement. I'm trying to make sure that what happened on the past two or the previous two lives doesn't happen again. What I'm doing is answering your questions based off of what you're saying. If you're not impeccable with your words, I'm not responsible for that. But I can remember what you're saying. So what you said were the words of karma, meaning that you do something and it comes back to you. I said, I think that the mainstream representation or presentation of what karma means is lacking based on what I have been exposed to or I'm aware of as far as the different branches of karma. So I said,
okay,
let's test it. Let's test it. Let's test whether or not it may be potentially
okay,
lacking that karma.
okay.
Let's get,
All
I
right, let's
want you
get
to,
down to
this
it.
is
All
how we're
right.
going to test it. This is how, and I want heavy to time it I want you to speak 3 minutes on karma, Ethereal, based off of what you know what to be, and then I'm going to speak on karma for 3 minutes.
No, I don't want to do that.
Why?
No, no,
It's a premise.
no, because I got another question. I ain't this
Okay,
one.
heavy. What do you think about that? Because
I want to know.
the reason for me
I got some
proposing
questions,
that
Phase.
is
Hold
to
up. I got some
test
questions
whether or
because
not the
because
mainstream
heavy.
ideology of
Wait.
karma is
Hold up,
limited
Phase.
or
Hold up,
lacking.
Phase. I got
Do
another
y'all think
question
that's
for you.
fair? Do
I
y'all
got another
think that's
question
fair?
for you.
Hold on,
If you say,
Ethereal.
look,
Do
you
y'all think that's
said
a
it's
fair?
lacking.
Do y'all think
You
that's a
said
fair
the
test of
karma.
whether or not mainstream karma is lacking in what is being taught? I would like to test whether, because your knowledge on karma seems to be coming from mainstream. I could be wrong. I want to test that theory. Mine isn't, but I would like to test that. So I would like to both of us take 2 minutes, 2 minutes to describe what karma is based on your knowledge or what your information has been for your what you've been receiving for all the time you've been here on earth. And then I'm going to go for 2 minutes. Is that fair? That's how we're going to test whether or not mainstream karma knowledge or karmic knowledge versus what is behind the scenes or esoteric or more in-depth karmic knowledge is presenting, whether or not it's lacking. Let's
How
test
we
it.
going to test it? If how we?
Because
Okay, okay.
okay, so based off of what you said, you're coming from what I'm calling, this is my premise, mainstream karmic knowledge. And I think it's
But
lacking.
this one.
So I
Oh,
would like to
but
test whether or not it
phase
is lacking.
phase
Because I could be
phase.
wrong.
But wait,
I'm
hold up,
sure
phase.
I'm
If
actually
we
answering
all
one of your
look,
questions with a simulation.
phase. So let me ask you this.
Wait, real quick before you ask that, Heavy, you think we could
Hold
do
up,
that?
hold up.
Y'all think
You
that's
said that
fair?
you think that the
Let's test
mainstream
it. Let's test it.
ideology of karma is
Uh-huh.
lacking. You
Uh-huh.
said you
Let's
think
test it.
that. So
Yes.
it's I gotta it's thinking and belief the same thing.
I'll answer that question in about 4 minutes. All right, so Heavy.
I don't know. I don't want to test it. That's not. I'm questioning you. We don't have to test that. We can
That's not
test it.
that's okay,
We don't have to test it.
you don't
I
think
don't
So,
want to do
I'm,
you
that.
don't think
That's
it's
going. You trying to? I don't want
you
to have
think
no long,
okay.
drawn out
Wait,
stuff.
4 minutes
out,
ain't long to me.
time out. Okay, time out. I'm sure, like myself, Malad, and the people listening at this point, we don't even know where the point of contention is at this point. At this
I'm trying to
point,
look. Can I tell you, heavy? I'm trying to
let me.
figure out.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead, give it to me.
I'm trying to figure out because he keeps contradicting himself. It's like, okay, if you think something is
Wait,
lacking,
wait. You got to give me the. You got to give me the
okay, so you want
examples.
to, so because
So
I'm trying to figure out.
wait. Hold on. I need understanding. You already know. I need understanding. So follow me. Follow me. So he contradicts himself, right? I'm following that
Hmm.
one. That's one. Okay, what's the next thing?
I'm trying to.
Now,
I want to
is
know.
that from these? Is
I
that
look,
from the
look. I
conversations
want to
that we have
know.
been having
I want
in
to know
present
is
day, or
knowledge.
is
Look,
that
look.
what?
This the whole
What?
thing. This the whole synopsis. I'm gonna give you a whole synopsis.
Okay.
This is what I'm trying to figure out. Is knowledge just belief this entire time? Is knowledge belief? Because I'm trying to differentiate between what's knowledge and what's belief because it all seems conscrewed. Because I'm hearing that if something is lacking,
Let's
that means that you
test
know
it.
it's lacking because you know the whole truth of it.
Right now,
But if
neither
you know the
of
whole
us
truth,
know.
wait,
Neither of us know right now. So let's test it.
right? But I'm
Isn't
saying
that
even
isn't,
if we
isn't
test it,
that what
how
we're
would you know?
supposed to do?
Because listen, it's still subjective because
Right.
people have to accept.
Okay. So
People will have
then,
to accept if either one of us is right. So that's
okay.
subjective.
Okay.
That's
So then let's
belief.
Okay,
let's
hold
let's
on,
give
Faze, I
let's
got it.
give people the
Okay, so
opportunity to
here's
do
where
that.
your problem is you're not understanding the difference between knowledge and belief. Okay, so knowledge deals with an awareness. It deals with an awareness. Belief deals with an acceptance. There's where the difference is. So knowledge is the awareness, but that awareness is based off of information you've gained, uh, things you've seen,
But
stuff
ain't that
people may have
subjective
given
though? But look,
you.
but heavy.
But
Is
but
that
the,
not
but that's but
subjective?
that's but that's that's
Being
not no.
aware
But
is
listen, but
okay.
here's what I'm saying. So you're saying being aware is subjective.
Yes, because guess
Okay,
what?
now
My bad. My bad. Heavy. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I want you. I'm gonna break it down because I don't want to go on a
Okay.
tangent. I want y'all
No,
to
no,
stay
I
on
want you
point.
to, because
But
you
no,
need to be
but
the mediator of it, because I'm truly trying to understand from because I want to understand y'all mindset on the difference between knowledge and belief, because if a person is declaring something out their mouth without the caveat of saying that this is what I believe, not what I think is true, right? Faye's not saying this what I
I
think.
literally said
No, not that.
I
My bad.
think.
My bad. Faye's not saying this what I believe, right? He's not saying this what
Well, I
I
don't have
believe.
to
He's
say. Why the
saying
fuck does it have to switch from think to believe when I say
I'm
these
a,
are my thoughts? That's what think
because
means. You know that?
because look, because that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out the difference between these opposites: belief and knowledge, right?
Think and what?
Thinking and knowing, like
Okay.
aware, like
So then,
what? Okay,
mhm.
what? This is what I'm saying. If you can look at something, a subject, and say it's something lacking in this, right? Then that would mean that, right? And you just saying knowledge is if knowledge is awareness heavy, then okay, cool. So does awareness based on only the things that you deal with and come in contact with?
All right. I want to talk to the
no,
moderator real quick. Heavy. I'm going to
no.
repropose that I'm able
Okay.
to exhibit what I'm saying so that it may be tested in real time. And the reason why I'm going to propose that is because it's me being challenged again about the premise of speaking on something having lack. I would like to test that in real time because it is my thinking that ethereal has been exposed to only the mainstream knowledge of what karma is. It is my thinking that I have been exposed to much more, many more components are known to me about karma than just whether or not it's a pushback phenomenon. So I would like to test that by taking 1 minute apiece to describe what karma is.
Go ahead,
Okay. Now,
Faith. Test it.
but here's my thing. The problem, I have no problem with that, but I still don't think that that is the point of contention, right? Like now, I will allow that because that would be entertaining for the listeners because everybody likes to get gems dropped on them, right? But I still think that the point of contention will still exist. You know what I'm
All
saying? I
right,
still
based off of what
think
Yeah,
you've been
hey, look,
told, what do you think?
hey, Heavy, you right.
because I
And
don't
you
think
What do
right.
you think the point of contention
because
is?
right because I get it right because it has nothing to do with anything that's took place today. This is for me again, this is knowledge born. This is knowledge born. Something that I've observed. I'm aware through observation and through hearing. Knowledge born right now.
Okay.
You have been saying that there are things about Faise in his teachings. How does he teach these things that and whence he doesn't know, but yet he says he doesn't know, but yet he's teaching them. So right, so this is something that you've observed through Faise based off of prior experiences and contact with him. So this is a prejudgment that you've had before this encounter of today. So you've been watching Faise, right? Safe to say, right? You've observed him at different points in time, right? To deduce or come to the conclusion that you have and what you are advocating for today, right? So that's what I've come to. That's knowledge born in me right now, right? So Faise is not up against karma. This ain't about karma. This is about something else. And I hope
That's what I'm.
knowledge is born
Okay,
in
let me
Faise
say this real quick,
at the
Heavy.
moment.
Let me say this real quick. I didn't think it was about karma. I think it was about the statement of me expressing that the mainstream knowledge of karma is lacking. So the simulation, which we're not going to do because it doesn't seem it can be done, the simulation would have been for the purpose of showing in real time that the statement may be able to be shown as true
No, do it.
or
We
evident.
said do it. We said test it.
But
We said it.
I don't think it's valid now because like we took
No,
so
no,
long.
test it.
That was it. We did it like 5 times in the time that it took to explain what the fuck we would do it for. So I think we can move on.
But this is heavy. I don't. I swear to God, this is not rocket science. This is like I'm asking. I am asking y'all to help me understand the difference between knowing and belief, because if if you think something is true only based off acceptance, right? Because what he used was, and this is why I keep going back to the honey. He said the honey gonna fall on the floor whether you believe it or not. So that would mean that knowledge exceeds belief, because the nature of something is gonna always be what it is, regardless of how you feel. So that would mean that there's a force greater than belief, right? Because if belief doesn't change the outcome of something that's natural or that's true, then that would mean true over exceeds belief. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Heavy.
When you
If your
say when you
belief
say
don't change the fact, would that make facts or truth more powerful than belief?
Yeah.
Heavy. I'm
okay,
asking.
I'm following. Okay,
No,
I'm
I'm saying
following. Yes,
that's a question. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm serious. I'm saying, what is okay? What's the difference? I'm trying to figure out, because again, I'm going off him. He dropped the honey and said this is going to hit the floor regardless of what you believe. So I'm
Is
saying,
that what I said?
okay, then
Is
if
that what
my
I said?
belief doesn't change the truth, then that would mean truth is more powerful than belief, right?
Right.
I'm acting heavy.
truth is more powerful. The truth is more powerful than belief.
Yeah,
Um,
because truth can't be changed by belief, but belief can be changed by truth.
but then that in that case, truth can be very belief can be very powerful. See, this is like it
No,
depends.
I ain't saying it
It's
can't be
it's
powerful.
depending.
I'm just saying
It's re-
which one.
it's situational. It's situational though. It's really
Right?
situational.
Okay.
It's like that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
So if
Do you see how
everything is
powerful
situational,
belief is? The way it's caused people to do some of the shit they do over truth, over them never accepting truth and holding on to their belief. Look at the things that's caused people to
no,
do.
no, we know that's powerful. That's not what I'm.
Very,
Okay. So I'm saying.
very
So,
powerful.
but this is. I don't. So I'm saying. So what's the difference between knowledge and belief then? Because if you're saying that, okay, because again,
But I went over that. belief,
We've gone over
but
that about
knowledge
17 times.
knowledge deals with an awareness. Belief deals with an acceptance.
Okay, okay, cool. So, okay, acceptance. So is applying something in the category of belief or in the category of knowing?
It's
It's
neither.
it's in it's in both.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that
it's
means that
neither.
applying something can have the outcome of it just being a belief and it being knowledge. Yes or
Explain.
no?
Explain how.
No, I'm asking.
Well, can you explain how it would be possible? Can you
No, I'm
explain what?
saying if I apply something, okay, I if y'all saying, look, think about this. I don't think y'all keep it up, and this is
All you
crazy
got to
because look,
do is
if y'all
explain it.
look, if y'all saying knowledge exists and belief exists, knowledge is based on knowing and your awareness, and belief is just based on the shit you accept, whether you know it or not, right? Okay. So what I'm asking is that if I apply something, okay, if I apply something, that means it can only go into either one of those categories. What I applied, this shit was some belief somebody told me, or this shit was something somebody told me that was truth. Because it's so heavy. Is knowledge synonymous with truth? Yes or no?
No.
So knowledge is not synonymous with truth?
He just answered no, but you don't want to accept
No,
that.
no, it ain't that. Calm down. Hold up. I'm talking to heavy. So,
Uh,
okay, knowledge is not synonymous with truth. So what's the difference? Okay, so then, because this is why context matter. I want to get to the bottom of it. So what's the difference between knowledge and truth, heavy?
so if you was to probably look up the synonyms for knowledge, truth would not be one of them. Why don't you do that for me? Look up synonyms for knowledge. You'll
No, no,
probably get stuff
that's
like
that's fine.
yeah,
Like it's not
yeah,
it's
you
not a,
get you get
yeah, it's
you
not
won't
about if
get
you wrong or right. It's not about wrong or right. I'm just trying to figure out this. Look, heavy. What's the difference? Okay, so does knowledge becomes truth, or is truth becomes knowledge? Like, or are they just purely separate from each other?
no truth. Nothing evolves into the truth. You only come to the knowledge and understanding of the truth. These are tools given to you for to help with the realization of truth. They don't become truth. Truth is what truth is. Though truth needs no defense, it can stand alone, without defense. These are the things that are used in order for you to interpret, and to gain an understanding of truth, and have the choice to take that knowledge and accept it or reject it. That's what those things are for, you know.
Okay, 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 cool. Okay, so truth stands alone, can't be altered, right? Can knowledge be altered?
Truth and knowledge can be altered. Hence, you have these things called
No, I'm saying, no,
lies
no, I'm
and
saying, I'm
and
saying,
misinformation.
no,
And
I'm saying, of course, but misinformation isn't the truth.
Truth can be
I'm
yeah,
saying,
it's a
yeah,
lot. Yeah,
truth is altered with time. That's why
yeah.
right now I'm about to breathe in. I can say my body is full of oxygen that's being converted into carbon dioxide. I breathe out. Carbon dioxide just went out. Those are two different states. Okay. Both were true, but it depended upon what time or what point in time we were in observing it. That happens all the time. Literally, you're breathing in, breathing out.
yeah.
So truth is altered with time.
But
Truth
but
changes
but
with
I'm
time.
saying if it's true, but is it true that you exhale carbon dioxide forever each time the conditions are the same?
We don't know that
I'm
because we haven't experienced
asking.
forever.
No, I'm asking. I said
I
every
just
time
answered it.
every time a human being on earth breathe out and breathe in, is they is there always is that a consistent is that a constant natural thing for a human to exhale carbon dioxide?
As far as what we know, or as far as what we think right now, yes.
Yeah,
Will,
as of
will
right
it
now, we can
always?
only
Will it
deal with the
always
now.
be?
So
Will it
right now,
always be?
yeah.
Will it always be? Has it?
We don't know that. We don't know
Has it
if it.
always?
We might end up breathing. We might end up having to breathe a different. type of Adam. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
my point. Has it always been that?
We don't know.
That's my point. So it's true, but it's true where? Where it's
Only in your
applicable.
now.
It's a, okay. So it's applicable right what? Right
Now.
now. So
Right.
try it, test it out. See, and the way you would try it and test it out is you would actually have to be in a laboratory where you could isolate carbon dioxide, where you could isolate oxygen, and then compare it to other isolations of those same
Right.
elements. You understand that? That would be where you could say, based off of what scientists are presenting, this is carbon dioxide that I breathed out is in this jar. They tested it, it checks out. This is oxygen that I breathed in this jar. If it were possible that you could do that, because even still, you would have to be in an environment where you could isolate those things, which would be kind of hard to do anyway, because once you breathe it in, it converts. But my point is, if it were to be done that way, you would be comparing it to that which is already known, or at least seen as true in that moment, or the moment as up to right now in science today.
Right.
Same thing with the water. The water may not always quench your thirst. It may
Okay.
quench one person's thirst and it may not quench the other person's thirst. The point is that water quenches thirst.
Right. Okay. And I love that. I love that explanation because dude, we have hit the moment of truth. We have hit the moment of truth because okay, cool then. So again, so if truth is subjective, right? Because that's what it sounds
No,
like. Because if it, no, I'm saying if it can be altered over
truth.
time, that means it's subjective to that time period. Because if it can change, then that means it's subjective to that other
So
time period if
then
it has
that's Heavy's
changed,
word when he said situational.
huh?
It's situational then, right?
Okay,
And also it depends on, because truth is given this proper noun right now. We need to lowercase that letter, right? Because truth applies to so many things. That's true. It applies to so many things.
What you're giving,
And
yeah, what he's giving me, Faze, is something called relativism, which makes
yep.
truth subjective,
Mhm.
right? This is what you're giving me. That's what it's called. Let me kill all this. And you're confusing truth with and true and something that is true and the truth, right? Because something that's true is more or less context related, and it could be subject to change. It's true. At the moment, it was that was it. That was factual. But now that's not the case. So it's no longer true. See, that's situational and it's subject to change. That's things that are true. We're not talking about that. When you're speaking of truth, people are speaking of absoluteness,
mm-hmm,
something
exactly.
that is permanent,
Mm-hmm.
something that is not subject to change, right? Now, there's only one thing that is that way,
And that's
and
change
That's
itself.
that is
change.
the thing that created. That's the thing that created nature, and that is the changer that created change. And
Mm-hmm.
change is the only thing that is absolute in this realm. That's it.
Right.
Change,
Okay, so
right?
Faith,
So,
let me ask
so
you this question
well,
then, because you got people in the comment section saying that um truth is truth, right, and it can't be changed. Would you
why
disagree
would
with that?
truth is truth? Of course, truth
Well,
is
I
truth.
don't have to
What do you?
disagree with it or agree with it. What I would say is you may be limited in your ability to test it. And what I say is I was taught by the tester. And I am a tester. And tester could be you test people. Tester could be you test yourself. You
Right.
test your own limits, your own capabilities. So if somebody's saying, yo, truth is truth, it can't be changed. If you're so interested in it, test it and see if they're telling you the truth.
Okay, so okay then, and this is what it comes down to. Let me ask you this, Face. Do you think that a lot of people, because you would say that the things that the information you put out into the public, that people can choose to apply or not, or you know what I'm saying, to accept, apply, whichever one they choose to do, that's on their choice. They can choose to do that, right? And again, like you said, you don't have to accept the responsibility because you know you're not responsible for what people accept in their lives or apply in their lives, nigga. That's your choice. Get that. So I would say this: do you think that the amount of people in this world is actually testing the things that they are accepting and applying?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't know to think
I'm
whether or not they are. I don't know. I don't
I
know
know
to
I know
think
you
whether
don't
or
know.
not they
I'm
are.
saying, okay, would you okay, let me say this then. Like, let's just say with an educated guess, do you think the majority of the population are actual testers of the information that they choose to accept in their lives?
No.
Okay. So what that would mean that so my question would be this: if a person has attested the shit that they talk about, don't that make them a believer?
No. It makes them a talker of the things that they haven't tested.
Okay, so they just a talker.
You don't have to. You don't have to believe something. People's parents taught them Santa Claus. That don't mean that they believed in it.
Wait, repeat that.
People's parents taught them Santa Claus. That doesn't mean the parents believed it.
The parents don't have to believe it, but the child can grow up believing that. See, that's the thing.
Look at the
So
analogy. Don't miss the analogy. The
now I get
analogy
that. You
groups
right. No,
with
you right about that. But I'm saying though, the damage is being done to the receiver.
well, who says it's damage? That's subjective.
Okay, that's subjective. To me, in the subjective moment, I think that's a disservice. So would you say that? So would you say that people not testing the information that they choose to accept, would you consider that not consider? Do you think that that's ignorant to not test the information that you accept from people?
No, I don't think it's ignorant. I think ignorance would be you're able to see what you have tested and that it is applicable, and you turn away from what is applicable for something that is to be accepted without you testing whether or not it's applicable.
I'm saying, okay, so what category of mindset would you put that in?
I wouldn't put them nowhere. If they're believers, you can say they're believers or you don't say they're believers. I don't put them anywhere. I think
What
people
makes
put
them
themselves.
so that's okay, and that's why I want to get down to context. I want to get down to the exact things of these conversations. So what makes a person a believer?
Anybody who believes a thing is called a believer.
Now I'm saying what that there's actions that equate to character, to traits,
Well, just,
to
okay, so
things.
then if you're saying believer as in a rapper would be the ER there, then I would say a believer tends to accept without investigation.
Okay, right,
It's very
okay,
simple. It's
exactly, okay, thank you.
attachment. It's
They
speech
accepted
patterns.
something without investigation. That makes them a believer, because if you investigate it, right, and and you do it, whatever that awareness is, like Heavy said,
That's not
knowledge is
true.
your awareness.
That's
Huh? That's
but
not
that's
true.
not true. That's not true.
What,
No,
what
because
you
let's
think,
be
Heavy?
very clear. Let's not. Okay, so when we say believe, remember believe is to accept something as true. That doesn't mean a person didn't do their diligence to vet out the thing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or to probe it, or to investigate, or to examine the quality of that thing before they made the decision to accept it as truth.
Yeah,
See,
belief and truth aren't mutually
most people
exclusive.
became believers
Yeah.
not based off of just hearing people. They used their knowledge, and they came to rational decisions. Some of the most accredited Christians are people that are scientists and former atheists, people that actually vetted and said, no, I've come to the conclusion that
Mm-hmm.
this is
Then
true,
that's a belief.
and I've accepted this is true.
Coming to
So
the
it's
conclusion
not
or
always this
accepting that
blind
something
thing
is
that
true
people
is believing.
that people come up with. Some people they took their rationale and they deduced this. If you go to a Muslim today and you ask them, why are you a Muslim? They're gonna break down the reasons why they are Muslim. And they're gonna give you the knowledge and the science. The same way if I go to a 5%er, he gonna give me the knowledge and the same way if I go to a Hebrew Israelite, he gonna give me the knowledge and the science. They didn't just take someone's word on it. They went out and did the research for themselves. and this is what they gathered. So I just don't put it all on just this belief, just as this, that just means, oh, whatever somebody said. No, some
So
people
you
did the
saying
work. They did the
so
work
basically, so are you saying that belief can also be based on testing it?
based off of knowledge and testing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Belief can be
I
So
justified
think
with
that
I know
also
many
with knowledge.
believers
depends
that'll
on
battle you today, that will battle you intellectually
that depends on the situation. If you believe in angels, what method are you using to test whether or not they're there? If you believe that there's a heaven that you go to after you pass from this earth plane, what methods are you utilizing to test whether or not there is such a place? If you believe that there's a
yeah, I agree.
planet-sized ship
I agree
traveling,
with Faze on this
you
one.
see what I'm saying? If you believe that there's a planet-sized ship called Nibiru traveling to
Well,
Earth, how do you test that? If you, listen, let me give you an example.
well, no, that depends on, it depends on which religious sect you're a part of, the things that might need to be
But if
tested
you
or
can't
whatever, or the things
test
that you
it,
choose to
it can't
accept as
become
true.
truth if. But it can't become truth if you can't test it.
It
That's the
doesn't
point. I
become
think that's
truth. Listen, it doesn't become truth. It either is. That's what they mean by truth is truth. It
right.
either is true
Right.
or it isn't true. And that again, when people say, is it possible to have 100% truth? I have a book called Nothing versus Everything. And in that book, I spoke about the eternal pursuit. I spoke about absoluteness and all this other stuff. As far as I am able to see, through my observation and my explorations, it doesn't appear that human beings even have the capacity to embody all of the information that exists to be information to say, I have absolute truth. I don't see it. I may be wrong. My point is this: if it's true, it's true. Whether or not they reach the point of that truth is another thing. So let's say, okay, I'll level with you, Heavy. I said that the believer doesn't investigate, right? They just accept. Okay, let's do like this. They don't investigate thoroughly enough to understand whether or not it's applicable. And when it comes to stuff like religions, you cannot apply whether or not God is coming on ships or clouds. You can't apply that. You have to actually go and see for yourself. And because you are limited in that ability, a lot of people say, well, God is coming. And I ask, how did you test it? Understand that? Let me give you an example of something. There is a master teacher that somebody was questioning, okay? And they asked, his name is Dr. Melikazi York, by the way. And they asked him, they said, yo, you painted this image of Anu. How am I supposed to know that this Anu being is real? Okay, because you're painting it, all these other, you said all these other people painted it, here you come making pictures. He said, you don't know. He said, and you can never know unless you experience for yourself whether or not. He said, my point is, don't believe the images are real. Now, a lot of people may not have been prepared for that response, but he was showing people then and there. Just because it's people to this day that are walking around saying stuff about the Neteru and the Etherians and all this other stuff. But if they haven't had the experience themselves,
Yeah.
then they don't know for sure whether or not these beings even exist or whether or not they were a figment of somebody's imagination or business module. That was the point, to break the spell of religion or to break the spell of ignorance or to break the spell of sleep. You had to stop believing. If you want to accept something, you accept that you didn't have the truth and that it was a lifelong journey to find truth. And last statement I make on that is, again, take that capital letter out of truth. Let's subtract that and let's make it lowercase again so it can make more sense. There are going to be multiple truths that you encounter even when you experience one truth. If you find that there is a man named Jesus coming down and it's not some Project Blue Beam twist up that they threw out there, and they do arrive here and they step off of the crowds, they say, yeah, these stories are about us, and all you can do is see it, and the government concedes and they don't want to war with these beings, or they did and they lost. If you see all of that happen and you get on the craft and you're all conscious in this time, okay, then you can at least say for sure then at that moment, okay, these beings were real. Until that point, you can't say that. And even in that moment, when you do experience that, you're experiencing so many truths that align and form the truth of Jesus is real. You're not just experiencing Jesus is real, because if Jesus is real, guess who else got to be real? His father got to be real. The angels got to be real. The whole story got to, according to where this being came from. You understand what I'm explaining to you?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I have a okay. Now we getting somewhere. I really like this because I gotta get ready and go in a few minutes. But look, so Faze, basically what you're saying is that the information you give out, it don't have to be accepted. It can be rejected. It's whatever. You only sharing your experiences of what you have tested, and if this helps other people cool. If it don't, cool too.
I haven't tested it. I haven't tested whether or not Nibiru is going to come here. I talk about it because it's something I think is interesting. And if you or somebody in the crowd happens to be like the children in Ruwa Zimbabwe that they spoke about, where they said it was some children that experienced these things up close and
Mm-hmm.
personal in real time
Yeah.
and were given an opportunity to leave this planet, all this stuff. If people had to hear what I'm saying to be activated enough to be touched by these Etherians or brought to another planet and get up out of here, if it's possible that it takes place that way, and all I was reaching was one person out of 400 some thousand, all right, I'm grateful with that.
Right.
If
Each one
nobody,
teach one.
not even each one teach one, what I'm saying is if it was only that I was supposed to reach a few people out of all the people that I met in my life, and that I had a role in whether or not some people's children were going to make it out of the planet Earth before it was destroyed, if that's a possibility, then it's interesting enough of a possibility that I'm going to speak that it's a possibility. If it's possible that I can come out here and say, we're going to war with drill music, watch it happen. If I can use magic, whether it's my music, lighting candles, burying dolls, whatever I choose to do, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. However, I think it's interesting enough that I may have the ability to stop this devilishment that's yielding more terrorists. And okay, my point is,
Right.
I can see whether or not it works. And then I can encourage other people or teach other people about that and say, you don't have to accept this. Maybe it spreads into something more positive. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe people take this and they become self-righteous and they become more oppressors and helpers. Either way, I don't accept responsibility for what everybody does. However, I do see it important for teachers to at least take on some responsibility to the best of their ability of how they're
Right.
conveying messages to people, because you may be able to, you know what I'm saying? My most important
Yeah.
way when I tell, the reason why I'm saying that is because my most important way of making sure that it's being conveyed in the best way is just reminding people, remember, I am a human being at this moment. I have vocal cords. I eat food. I drink water. I go to rest just like you. I could be wrong. That's the best thing I could offer you, is that I could be
Yeah.
wrong. You seeing me as this, that, and the third. I could still be 100% wrong. Jesus could be Caucasoid. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go to
Right.
church to save your soul. It depends on how interested in any of these things that I'm bringing you are, which is why I point them to more masterful people, right? Or more masterful.
So would you
Good.
say that? So would you say that the mission is to just to get people to think and not just believe, but to actually think? Don't accept anything, but take everything into consideration, but actually think. Would you say that's what it is?
What I would say, my mission is to be an eternal seeker, right? Okay, my name, Faise One, forever an inspiration seeking eternity. Omari never ends. That's what it means. Is what I put in my name when I was 13. That's what was revealed to me. So as far as it being the mission, listen, there may be a mission or a purpose for my life I'm not aware of yet, and I'm okay with that. If there are beings pulling strings that I have nothing, I don't fully comprehend about, I'm all right with that. I reach out to those beings and I say, use me. If you see a better, listen, if you see that I could be used to form a better world or to reach some people you're not able to reach right now or to make way for y'all, because I know I don't have all of the information, I am
Right.
able to say, okay, it is possible that there are beings out there who do have all the information about this realm, this reality, what could happen, all of it. Then okay, and I'll say, if you are there and you can hear me, use me. I could be wrong. I could be crazy. I could be talking to the fucking air. I think it's interesting enough that I'll talk
Right.
to that air
Yeah.
to see if it works. And that's what I'm telling everybody else. Maybe you'll find out Allah is the way. Allah, you may go become a Muslim, join a masjid, all right, participate in all this other stuff, and you'll find that this is what was best for you and your bloodline. It may be Christianity, maybe no religion. Maybe you were supposed to be an engineer. Maybe you're supposed to be an architect. Whatever it was. If you heard my voice and I had anything to do with that, I'm grateful. And somehow, some way, I look forward to being able to hear you talk to me or say something to me. You become a degree that I could take on for myself if it's interesting enough. And I learn from you. That's how I was raised up. Not raised
Right.
up that
So
one man has all the answers.
so basically you're saying that doing the best that you can with what you got and affecting people's lives in the most positive way you can.
Yeah, and maybe it's not always positive, or maybe it's not always my best. Maybe
Right.
I just had the
So,
intention to do my best. Maybe I convinced myself that I did. Maybe I fell
Right.
short. I'm okay with all of that.
so
So
ethereal.
basically,
Is there a part? Is there a part of Phase's teachings that you just like just adamantly disagree with? Is there something that you can
no,
point
I
out?
no.
Oh,
That's the thing.
okay,
I think
yeah.
this. See, what I like to expose is bird brains because Phase Phase is a cool dude. I actually respect Phase. I respect everybody. I honestly, if people meet me in person, I'm not the same as I am on internet. Like I don't fuck what people think. They can think what they want to. The image I might give on here is like Phase. Like honestly, because the way I think, I don't give a fuck what people think. I'm always been like that. But the thing is that now I respect Phase, but it's very telling to me that a lot of these people that defend things, they haven't even tested it themselves. You got more like when Faze come talk, you got people that back him up, and that's good. He got an army, but that shows that what he's saying, he's doing, and you gotta respect that shit. Whether if he was a devil or not, the nigga got an army, and a lot of people can't say that. So I respect that his words carry weight. Whether he just said whether it's positive or negative, nigga, I got people behind me. I got people that are back for me. Do you got people that'll fight for you? You get what I'm saying? So
Mm.
I respect that highly, but it's crazy to me that he had tell them even Malachi told them don't believe me, look it up. These niggas don't be looking it up.
But
Them niggas,
but can you
hey,
fault? But how can you? But okay, so what are they supposed to? Okay, so what is a person to do if I say look it up, and the person that I get the information from says look it up, and I tell you and you don't look it up? Well, like what? How am I at fault in any way because of
no,
that? What
I
is
ain't
it?
saying
What
he
am I
at
to
fault.
do?
No, Faye's not at fault. Or
Yeah.
his master teacher. That's the thing. My point is that my point is this. Everybody has to do their due diligence of trying to be the best that they can with vetting information. Because would you agree that the world is suffering from lack of knowledge, like the awareness, right? Like for instance, y'all
Nah.
was earlier talking about slavery. Look, listen, y'all was talking about slavery early, right? A lot of people is taking on that trauma and they ain't even aware of it. Like it ain't a part of their awareness because they didn't go through it. They, you know what I'm saying? They're just regurgitating, and they haven't did the due diligence to see what happened with their bloodline. You get what I'm saying? Like they didn't, they didn't, they didn't, they didn't research if it happened to their family, but they are just accepting it as a trauma bond. It's the victim
But
Olympics. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying
no,
phase
but
is
see, it's not. But no, and I get that, but also it's not that. See, this is what I'm saying. When you live long enough, you'll understand that many different people have many different experiences in life. They're not all so cookie cut and so clear. Everybody doesn't learn things the same way. You know, everybody doesn't get
right.
things the same way. Everybody's experiences aren't the same. And you'll be surprised when you sit and you talk to people, you know, and that's why you don't always just believe people just to believe people. Some people you believe because you genuinely trust them, and you
Oh
just
yeah, yeah,
know
yeah,
that
for
they're
sure,
not lying,
for sure.
and you just know that they're not lying to you. How about that? You know that even that's what made family, back in the day so important because we knew they weren't gonna lie to us, right? They was gonna keep
Hmm.
it 100 with us, right? That was
Yeah.
one of the things that took place in family. So some people we just believe because we know that they've done the work or we trust them. You know what I'm saying? They're credible sources or they're people that genuinely care about us or about the subject matter. You know what I'm
Now,
saying?
and wait, but
So
look,
that has the way in
but
too.
why?
It can't just
Hey,
be
heavy.
you
I
believe
agree,
this
but I
person
agree. No,
and
I
they ain't
agree with
shit.
that.
You
I
know?
agree with that. I agree with that because I say this in my life. I got people that come and talk to me. They know I'm going to give them the most objective, you know, opinion that I can give without my feelings being involved in it. So I've always been known for people being real with people. Like I'm gonna be real with you. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So that's true. So some people can't just believe it. But what I'm saying is with the conscious community, right? The so-called conscious community, the information has ramped up to the point where it's like, yeah, you can say you trust this person enough to believe them, but what about the Pan-Africans that people truly trusted? Them niggas was agents, and what that information did to our community, it fucked it up. It made it worse. So what I'm saying is that yes, you can both two things can be true. Now, again, with Phase's point, he don't come out and declare nothing as being, oh, this is straight facts. He's just telling you what he thinks and what he has applied and things like that. Like he said, he ain't applied everything, but he can only tell you what he thinks he knows or however he want to word it, which is cool because other people don't have to accept it as true, which is why when I give titles to him, he say no, that's not true, or no, that's not what it is, because things it is just what it is. If I want to put a label or something, that ain't got shit to do with the person that's talking. That's me forming that shit, which is why he always say no. I no, that's not. He always say no because I can't put what I think on him. He's not responsible for that. I am. So whatever he teaches, that like if he's telling you to go look it up and don't just accept it, but what I'm saying is that we the conscious community people are just accepting shit without actually testing it. And that's my whole point of this, because what y'all just proved to the audience is that you don't know nothing. The best thing you can do is test it and try to come to the
That's all
closest.
we've ever been saying. Can you imagine being accused of otherwise your whole life? I was born into. I was born into right now.
Right.
It's a way of life. Can you imagine being accused your whole life? Oh, y'all think y'all got all the answers and da 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 da. Y'all think y'all know it all. You think he know it all. We just keep looking like, what's wrong with them? Why don't they understand this? But then we have to remember that most people are under the spell of belief. It is a spell. You know what I'm saying? It's not just no, I believe this. It's something that people rely on. They don't even know they're in it. So when we present and say that's not how we live, that's not how we're supposed to live. I gotta keep that clear. Because that doesn't mean that everybody who came up in this way of life that they live that way. Some people still want to believe. It's one of the things you're talking about now. Some people still want to believe. They still want a religion. So you're right. And the purpose of even teaching that way is because, all right, we have a task at hand. The task at hand is to throw a welcome home party for somebody, right? Listen to me. And I'm okay. Let's say I'm very good with bringing people together, just getting people together. I can send out the invitations, all of that. People like me, whatever. Ethereal, you're very good with setting stuff up and making sure everything is aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Making sure it's appealing for people to want to enjoy. So I go to you for that. Somebody else is a hell of a cook. I'm gonna go to them for that. Somebody else do
Right.
this. Okay, so why would I teach that I do all of this, but the task is to have the gathering, the welcome home gathering? Why would I teach that I do all of it so people expect that I do all of it and nobody does what they know they can bring to the table? It
Mm.
discourages people from stepping up and doing what they're supposed to be doing as a part of this, which is why I tell people I'm not supposed to be the only elite motherfucker when we gather. Everybody gotta
Nah.
have that crown on. Everybody gotta think they the shit. Everybody gotta have that swagger about them because we getting
Yeah.
stuff done. And if
Mm.
it's only one person moving like that, then what happened if you take this one person out of the
The
picture
whole
and ain't
domino.
nobody
What's that
else?
thing? Yep. The whole dom. And that's what. Would you agree that that's what happened to Malachi? Do you think that? Wait. Let me ask you this. But I ain't even gonna assume. I'm gonna ask you personally because you're directly a part of that. So when Malachi was incarcerated, do you think um not that his movement failed, because you still see people upholding the teachings, which is cool, but do you think the main mission of how the togetherness was versus now, do you think that has changed?
I think certain aspects of it has changed because you have more of an inner circle, homely type unity. Now the unity has spread out. So It's not necessarily that it's changed in a way that it's taken on a whole other form. It's done what energy does. You know what I'm saying? Well, I guess it would be that. It has taken on another form. It's spread out. You know what I'm saying? So more people on the outside have love for not only just the master teacher, they got love for each other. They're practicing a certain way of life. They live in this way. They want to be scientists. They're going into, teacher style. They want to wake people up. They want to use their voice to help. It's spreading out beyond what was just there, on Tamaray or in Brooklyn. So I think in that way, it's changed like he said it would. He said that this was going to happen and that people were going to know more, not only about who he is, but what the movement is because of what they were going to do. That them trying to destroy his name was going to only bring more people to him. And that's what happened. And them trying to destroy the movement was only going to bring more people to what is called woke now. And that's what happened. So I would say, based on my observation, certain aspects of it did change. There is a certain unity that I do miss just because I grew up in it, but I also have to remember that I was a child and the adults were responsible for making sure that whether or not they were righteous, they gave us a righteous example so that we would want to grow up and be like that example. So even if they had an argument behind the scenes, right, when they came out in front of us, they were responsible for choosing whether or not they were going to still deal with each other with love. So I saw a relationship, at least that side of it, because it was different sides. Sometimes they didn't listen. But I saw a side of it which gave me the choice of two people in the household able to love on one another. Even though it wasn't my biological father, I did see that. My point of all of that is the adults were responsible for showing us righteousness. They were encouraged to live it. But Dr. Malachi York is no fool. He's not a fool, and we're not fools. They were encouraged to live it, but most people didn't live it. But as a child, the same way some people were given certain things, and it may not have been that, Easter Bunny, all
Right.
that stuff. Our thing was we were given that our parents lived a certain way that we would want to aspire to grow up and live. They treated each other a certain way. They did
Right.
certain things in the community. And because we saw that, as I grew older, I saw that some of those things they didn't really live. I saw certain people in the community didn't do what they were putting out, but I was already impressed upon, and I made the decision that the impression was important enough to hold on to, regardless of whether or not they lived it that way. I saw that it was important to live it that way, and that's what Nuwapu is. Regardless of whether or not the next man ties his shoes, if you seen him trip because he ain't tying them, how about you tie yours?
And for me, I still don't think that every black person should follow the traditions uh, that Malachi Z. York was, or the standards that he was setting. Um, I don't think that everybody can live by those standards. I don't think everybody is a descendant of probably whatever these people that they might be talking about, because I don't know the teachings, right? Or whatever the case
Yeah,
may
that,
be. But
and he agrees with you. You know that he agrees with
right,
you. That's why
and
it's important that you say you don't
and
know
but
the teachings.
I do respect the level of autonomy that that Malachi Z. York was given his people. You know what I mean? And giving them the understanding of who they are. It's, to me, it's all it's a way of finding your tribe. Everybody has to find their tribe. And for some people, like, that's when I see Faise, like, to me, I say that's his tribe. He's
Mm-hmm.
Nuwapu. That's his tribe. Whenever I see him.
Well, then I would
So
have to.
that
Here's what I would have to say to
it's
you.
not for me, but I know it's for him, and I know that the way he views the world and structures the world, and the way he views males and females and things of this nature, all probably a lot of it comes through the lens of that. You know what I mean? But it's so. But I respect it. I respect it.
So, okay, so heavy. So then you would say this then. So basically, and I think a lot of people, instead of them understanding asking contrary questions,
Mm.
damn, they say when they hear somebody asking contrary questions, they say, "Oh, he combative, he this, he crazy," and it's like y'all so used to just following that y'all don't even understand that it is very important to hear contrary arguments or discussions.
Mm.
If you are in a room full of everybody agreeing, I wouldn't trust it because
Right.
where's the pushback? Y'all not perfect. How can y'all say y'all not perfect? And y'all don't know everything, but y'all agreeing on everything.
But sometimes there has to be agreement, you know.
No, no, no.
Some
I
things you
ain't
want
saying that. I'm
to.
talking about no. I'm talking about in conversations where um there's different levels of education. Not your tribe. Of course, you want your whole tribe to agree. You know what I'm saying? Like that's your tribe. It's like we got to move as one, so we all have to have the same mindset. But they're so used to people just agreeing and just accepting it. See, they want you just, oh, believe me, I'm right, and accept it. No, I'm gonna question you because I need to
Mm,
see what foundation your mindset is coming from. Because what they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
that's true. Get the There he is.
Hey, heavy. This is pay
Got it.
per view. They can talk all they want
Yeah, it
to.
is. That's what
This.
I told him. Like,
But look,
people be getting all
I got a
personal.
question for Faye. So, are you not responsible for the information you put out to the public that people choose to accept?
I can choose to accept responsibility, or I can choose not to accept responsibility,
That's true.
depending on the
But
situation.
what about karma? Do
I
you
don't
think
believe in
karma
karma.
exists?
I don't believe in
Huh?
karma. I
Huh?
don't believe in karma.
Um. So let me ask you this: what's your thought process on karma?
I got a whole teaching on it. I did. It's old. There's different compartments.
No,
I like.
so
I like.
give me a synopsis, just a quick synopsis. You ain't got to break it all
I
super
think.
down.
I think that is a very well thought out, thorough response to how things occur in relationship to what is referred to as the Fibonacci sequence and the pendulum swing effect and chaos theory and determinism.
Okay, so do you think karma is about it's based on you get what you give?
Think that it can be interpreted as such, but when you really look into karma, there are so many different aspects of it that the mainstream media's representation of what it is very lacking.
And you would say that that's okay, so you think it's lacking based on your subject subjectivity, right? Your subjective testing, or is it based on objective testing?
I don't know.
So my point is that how do you decide when something is lacking information if your standpoint is that you don't know nothing?
I said I think.
That's what I'm saying. How can you? Why? My point is this: if you said you did a teaching on what karmic energy really is, then that would means that if you are saying if you are substantiating that you did a teaching on what it really is, then that would mean the opposite exists, that people are teaching what it is not. So if there's something out there about a subject that's if you teaching about what it really is and other people is teaching about is not teaching the same thing, then that would mean one of y'all
Okay.
is
So
um
I never said I got you. I never said I taught what it really is. I said I did a whole teaching on it. And just to go into a little more of what I meant by lacking, if I
wait,
say
hold up. But if you're doing a teaching on it, are you not teaching about karma?
if I'm doing a teaching on karma, am I teaching about karma? If this is
Karmic
what you really
energy.
want to ask, I didn't say you. You changed it to karmic energy. You asked me about karma. I said I didn't believe in karma. I didn't know we were talking about karmic energy. You didn't ask me about Sanchita. You didn't ask me about any of the stuff, whether or not it's historic karma, future karma, past karma. That's what I mean by lacking. What I mean by lacking is there's a presentation of something as an idea, and people run with this statement of karma means if you do something, it'll come back to you. I said I think that's lacking because of how many umbrellas I'm aware of karma. You understand that?
All right. So okay, so let's get deep into that. So if you're aware of different karmas, right? If you're aware of different karmic energy, like you said, it's lacking. That's what I just said. If you say that it's lacking, how do how do you know it's lacking? Because right now you're giving me a declaration. You're not saying allegedly it's lacking, or
Well,
for
let's test it.
imitating purposes it's
Let's test
lacking,
it.
or I believe it's lacking. What you're giving a declaration mean that what you saying is true. Heavy. Before I ask you that, heavy, am I wrong for saying that he's giving a declaration that what he's saying is accurate?
Um, is he declaring that it's accurate?
Yeah,
I
because
don't know
they say
No,
if he's
word
declaring
is
that it's
I'm
bond,
not.
right?
accurate.
I'm not
No,
declaring that it's accurate.
no,
Or
there's no
I
declaration
mean,
of
I'm just
that.
saying he loves semantics, but he don't say allegedly when he talks.
well, I don't have to. Was I'm not okay. So then we have to understand what I'm actually. What are we actually
So
talking about? So we
I'm
switched
no,
it
'cause- wait,
from
wait.
karma
I
to
just no.
karmic
This what
energy, which are two different things.
because I know
Here we.
cause,
It's about to
I,
happen again if you don't let me make this statement. I'm trying to make sure that what happened on the past two or the previous two lives doesn't happen again. What I'm doing is answering your questions based off of what you're saying. If you're not impeccable with your words, I'm not responsible for that. But I can remember what you're saying. So what you said were the words of karma, meaning that you do something and it comes back to you. I said, I think that the mainstream representation or presentation of what karma means is lacking based on what I have been exposed to or I'm aware of as far as the different branches of karma. So I said,
okay,
let's test it. Let's test it. Let's test whether or not it may be potentially
okay,
lacking that
okay,
karma.
okay.
Let's get,
All
I
right, let's
want you
get
to,
down to
this
it.
is how
All
we're
right.
going to test it. This is how, and I want heavy to time it I want you to speak 3 minutes on karma, Ethereal, based off of what you know what to be, and then I'm going to speak on karma for 3 minutes.
No, I don't want to do that.
Why?
No, no,
It's a premise.
no, because I got another question. I ain't. This
Okay,
one.
Heavy. What do you think about that? Because
I want to know. I
the
want to.
reason for me
I got some
proposing
questions,
that
Phase. Hold up,
is
hold up.
to
I got some
test
questions
whether or
because
not the
wait,
mainstream
because heavy.
ideology of
Wait.
karma is
Hold up,
limited
Phase.
or
Hold up,
lacking.
Phase. I got
Do
another
y'all think
question
that's
for you.
fair? Do
I got
y'all
another
think that's
question
fair?
for you.
Hold on,
If you say,
Ethereal.
look,
Do
you
y'all think that's
said
a
it's
fair?
lacking.
Do y'all think
You
that's a
said
fair
the
test of
karma.
whether or not mainstream karma is lacking in what is being taught? I would like to test whether, because your knowledge on karma seems to be coming from mainstream. I could be wrong. I want to test that theory. Mine isn't, but I would like to test that. So I would like to both of us take 2 minutes, 2 minutes to describe what karma is based on your knowledge or what your information has been for your what you've been receiving for all the time you've been here on earth. And then I'm going to go for 2 minutes. Is that fair? That's how we're going to test whether or not mainstream karma knowledge or karmic knowledge versus what is behind the scenes or esoteric or more in-depth karmic knowledge is presenting, whether or not it's lacking. Let's
How
test
we
it.
gonna test it? If how
Because
we? Okay,
I
okay.
okay, so based off of what you said, you're coming from what I'm calling, this is my premise, mainstream karmic knowledge. And I
But
think it's
but
lacking.
this one.
So I would like to
But
test whether or not it
phase
is lacking because I could be
phase.
wrong.
But wait,
I'm
hold up,
sure
phase.
I'm
If
actually
we
answering
all
one of your
look,
questions via the simulation.
phase. So let me ask you this.
Wait, real quick before you ask that, Heavy, you think we could do that?
Hold up.
Y'all think
You
that's
said that
fair?
you think that the
Let's test
mainstream
it. Let's test it.
ideology of karma is
Uh-huh.
lacking. You
Uh-huh.
said you
Let's
think
test it.
that. So
Yes.
it's I gotta it's thinking and belief the same thing.
I'll answer that question in about 4 minutes. All right, so Heavy.
I don't know. I don't want to test it. That's not. I'm questioning you. We don't have to test that. We can
That's not
test it.
that's okay,
We don't have to test it.
so you don't
I
think
don't
So,
want to do
uh,
you
that.
don't think
That's
it's
going. You trying to? I don't want to have
think
no
real quick.
long,
okay.
drawn out
Wait,
It's
wait,
stuff.
wait.
four
Time
minutes
out.
ain't long to
Time
me.
out. Time out. Okay, time out. I'm sure, like myself, Malad, and the people listening at this point, we don't even know where the point of contention is at this point. At this
I'm trying to
point,
look. Can I tell you, heavy? I'm trying to
let me.
figure out.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Give it to me.
I'm trying to figure out because he keeps contradicting himself. It's like, okay, if you think something is
Wait,
lacking,
wait. You got to give me the. You got to give me the
okay, so you want
examples.
to, so because
So
I'm trying to figure out.
point. Wait. Hold on. I need understanding. You already know. I need understanding. So follow me. Follow me. So he contradicts himself, right? I'm following that
hmm
one. That's one. Okay. What's the next thing?
I'm trying to.
Now
I want to
is
know.
that from these? Is
I
that from the
look. I
conversations
want to
that we have
know.
been having
I want
in
to know
present
is
day, or
knowledge.
is that
Look,
what?
this the whole
What?
thing. This the whole synopsis. I'm gonna give you the whole synopsis.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out is knowledge just belief this entire time? Is knowledge belief? Because I'm trying to differentiate between what's knowledge and what's belief, because it all seems construed. Because I'm hearing that if something is lacking,
Let's
that means that you
test
know
it.
it's lacking because you know the whole truth of it.
Right now,
But if
neither
you know the
of
whole
us
truth,
know.
wait,
Neither of us know right now. So let's test it.
right? But I'm
Isn't
saying
that
even
isn't
if we
isn't
test it,
that what
how
we're
would you know?
supposed to do?
Because listen, it's still subjective because
Right.
people have to accept.
Okay. So
People will have
then,
to accept if either one of us is right. So that's
okay.
subjective.
Okay.
That's
So then let's
belief.
Okay,
let's
wait, hold
let's
on,
give
Faze, I
let's
got it.
give people the
Okay, so
opportunity to
here's
do
where
that.
your problem is you're not understanding the difference between knowledge and belief. Okay, so knowledge deals with an awareness. It deals with an awareness. Belief deals with an acceptance. There's where the difference is. So knowledge is the awareness, but that awareness is based off of information you've gained, uh, things you've seen,
But
stuff
ain't that
people may have
subjective
given
though? But look,
you.
but heavy.
But
Is
but
that
the,
not
but that's but
subjective?
that's but that's that's
Being
not no.
aware
But
is
listen, but
okay.
here's what I'm saying. So you're saying being aware is subjective.
Yes, because guess
Okay,
what?
now
My bad. My bad. Heavy. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. I want you. I'm gonna break it down because I don't want to go on a
Okay.
tangent. I want y'all
No,
to
no,
stay
I
on
want you
point.
to, because
But
you
no,
need to be
but
the mediator of it, because I'm truly trying to understand from, because I want to understand y'all mindset on the difference between knowledge and belief, because if a person is declaring something out their mouth without the caveat of saying that this is what I believe, not what I think is true, right? Faye's not saying this what I
I
think.
literally said
No, not that.
I
Not my bad.
think.
My bad. Faye's not saying this what I believe, right? He's not saying this what
I
I
don't have
believe.
to
He's
say. Why the
saying
fuck does it have to switch from think to believe when I say
I'm
these are my thoughts? That's what think
because
means. You know that?
because look, because that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out the difference between these opposites: belief and knowledge, right?
Think and what?
Thinking and knowing, like
Okay.
aware, like
So then,
what? Okay,
mhm.
what? This is what I'm saying. If you can look at something, a subject, and say it's something lacking in this, right? Then that would mean that, right? And you just saying knowledge is, if knowledge is awareness heavy, then okay, cool. So does awareness based on only the things that you deal with and come in contact with?
All right. I want to talk to
no,
the moderator real quick. Heavy. I'm going to
no.
repropose that I'm able
Okay.
to exhibit what I'm saying so that it may be tested in real time. And the reason why I'm going to propose that is because it's me being challenged again about the premise of speaking on something having lack. I would like to test that in real time because it is my thinking that ethereal has been exposed to only the mainstream knowledge of what karma is. It is my thinking that I have been exposed to much more, many more components are known to me about karma than just whether or not it's a pushback phenomenon. So I would like to test that by taking 1 minute apiece to describe what karma is.
Go ahead,
Okay. Now,
Faith. Test it.
but here's my thing. The problem, I have no problem with that, but I still don't think that is the point of contention, right? Like now, I will allow that because that would be entertaining for the listeners because everybody likes to get gems dropped on them, right? But I still think that the point of contention will still exist. You know what I'm
All
saying? I
right,
still
based off of
think
what
it
Yeah,
you've been
hey, look,
exists
told, what do you think?
because
hey,
because I
Heavy,
think
you right.
because I
And
don't
you
think
What do
right.
you
because I
think the
think
point of contention
because
is?
right because I get it right because it has nothing to do with anything that's took place today. This is for me. Once again, this is knowledge born. This is knowledge born. Something that I've observed. I'm aware through observation and through hearing. Knowledge born right now.
Okay.
You have been saying that there are things about Faze in his teachings. How does he teach these things that and whence he doesn't know, but yet he says he doesn't know, but yet he's teaching them. So right, so this is something that you've observed through Faze based off of prior experiences and contact with him. So this is a prejudgment that you've had before this encounter of today. So you've been watching Faise, right? Safe to say, right? You've observed him at different points in time, right? To deduce or come to the conclusion that you have and what you are advocating for today, right? So that's what I've come to. That's knowledge born in me right now, right? So what Faise is, so Faise is not up against karma. This ain't about, this is about something else. And I hope
That's what
knowledge is born in
let me
Faise
say this real quick,
at the
Heavy.
moment.
Let me say this real quick. I didn't think it was about karma. I think it was about the statement of me expressing that the mainstream knowledge of karma is lacking. So the simulation, which we're not going to do because it doesn't seem it can be done, the simulation would have been for the purpose of showing in real time that the statement may be able to be shown as true
No, do it.
or
We
evident.
said do it. We said test it.
But
We said it.
I don't think it's valid now because like we took
No,
so
no,
long.
test it.
That was it. We did it like 5 times in the time that it took to explain what the fuck we would do it for. So I think we can move on.
But this is heavy. I don't. I swear to God, this is not rocket science. This is like I'm asking. I am asking y'all to help me understand the difference between knowing and belief, because if if you think something is true only based off acceptance, right? Because what he used was, and this is why I keep going back to the honey. He said the honey gonna fall on the floor whether you believe it or not. So that would mean that knowledge exceeds belief, because the nature of something is gonna always be what it is, regardless of how you feel. So that would mean that there's a force greater than belief, right? Because if belief doesn't change the outcome of something that's natural or that's true, then that would mean true over exceeds belief. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Heavy.
When you
If your
say,
belief don't change the fact, would that make facts or truth more powerful than belief?
Yeah.
Heavy, I'm
okay,
asking.
I'm following. Okay,
No, I'm
I'm
saying
following. Yes.
that's a question. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm serious. I'm saying, what is okay? What's the difference? I'm trying to figure out, because again, I'm going off him. He dropped the honey and said this is going to hit the floor regardless of what you believe. So I'm
Is
saying,
that what I said?
okay, then
Is
if
that what
my
I said?
belief doesn't change the truth, then that would mean truth is more powerful than belief, right?